Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing for week number 4, day number 1. We got a lot of great Heroes of Storm action for all of you at home. But before we start diving into everything that is HeroesCCL, I got to check in with my co-casters and see how you're doing. Grubby, let's start with you. How have you been in the week leading into today's matches?
It's been great. I decided to get a facial shave, and I see that Justin followed suit, and we're both wondering, when is your turn?
Never. Never, ever. Never, ever. Ever, ever. No, I
Is that your natural color, by the way? It's really gorgeous.
I dye it daily. Yes, it's
Yes.
I'm actually blonde. So Grubby, you've ousted me. I'm everyone. I'm sorry. That's why the red kind of changes from time to time. It's like a little brighter, it's a little darker. But Justin, how have you been in the week leading into today's broadcast?
Yeah, I've been pretty good. I've been taking it a little bit chill this last week, and I started growing out my Bahamut beard, but I realized very quickly that it wasn't looking quite like how I'd anticipated, so unfortunately I had to part ways with it.
Well, I know everyone comes to my stream for my hairstyling tips, so here's the big hairstyling tip for all of you before we start looking at some prize pool. Just grow it out. Just keep growing out your beard and let it go wild, and then trim it back down, and then you can make it look nice and clean. But we got our hairstyling tips out of the way. Let's talk about some prize pool, gentlemen, because we have some really, really cool breakdowns for all of you when it comes to our prize pool. As always, we like to be transparent with all of you at home, and it's going to be 60% of that prize pool going to the players. First place taking 35% of said 60%. And then here's the transparency part that we always like to be clear with you all at home. We got 40% coming back to Wisdom to be able to create amazing graphics, host these broadcasts, and, well, cover the league expenses. If you'd like to check out the Matcherino page or donate towards the prize pool, you can hit _prize pool in chat to be able to get yourself over to that Matcherino. Because of your support, we've hit $3,806. And Grubby, I know you have some sort of incentivization for the viewers at home for 4K, don't you?
Yeah. Yes. We're going to do some Logan tricks and treats, what have you. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a part of it. We're only $194 away from that, so if we can get that, we're going to get some doggo on stream. We've been practicing hard for our next trick, so let's get it done. I love about the prize pool distribution that 35% goes to the winning team. So your support towards the league will also be directly rewarding the team that puts in the strongest amount of effort in order to show the highest level of games. You know, the stipend that HeroesHearth offers the Wisdom offer the competing teams is really fairly spread out for everyone's effort, but the big prize money difference really comes from the community contribution. So that winning team will be rewarded the most, as it should be. This is #esports.
Big prize pools to be unfolding as the season does progress. But the things that have unfolded is a few weeks of some games here, Justin. And I want to get your thoughts on the standings as we have everything. We have the standings right here in front of our eyes.
Yeah, the last week was really important for the standings. We saw Simplicity be the sole team taking that first place spot because Storm Esports won their series. And so 30K and Wildheart and Oxygen are now all tied for that second place spot with the 2-1. And then today's games are going to be pretty interesting for this. You've got Simplicity, which looked really strong last week. We're going to see if they're able to solidify themselves in that first place position when they go against Granit, who looked a lot better last week. So I think this is going to be a pretty important day, especially for Simplicity Esports, trying to maintain that first place position.
You had mentioned the matches that we're going to be seeing today, and I think we got that ready to go for all of us. But yeah, we will be seeing. We have 2 best of 5s today. We're gonna start out the day with Simplicity versus Granit Gaming, and as you said, Justin, this is going to be this is going to be a big one for Granit Gaming. They really got to show up against Simplicity, who is this dominant force in CCL. And then we'll close out our Saturday games with Diamond Hands versus Storm Esports. And Grubby, I'm sure you are thinking the exact same thing. Will Diamond Hands get reverse swept again?
Yeah. Oh man, just Diamond Hands, if you're listening, don't pull a Diamond Hands. Like, you are very strong at creating a narrative and a storyline here with these 2-3s. They're really exciting, but I'm not sure our hearts can take it. Plus, think about the emotional cost to yourselves. You're so self-sacrificing, but it's time to stop the altruism and seize what is rightfully yours. So you are allowed to close it out 3-0, you know, if you're 2-0. Yeah, good luck with that.
They've had some strong weekends of games. We have had literally Diamond Hands has started out a series with just a strong Dragonshire and then a strong Battlefield of Eternity, I think it is. And they look great. And then map 3 comes around and it's just Infernal Shrines, Cursed Hollow. They seem to get cursed, but we can talk about that matchup a little bit later. I want to talk about a couple little things before we get into our first best of 5. One of those things being Next Level Gaming. Next Level Gaming is an esports center in Miami, Florida, and if you live in the area, you can go to Next Level Gaming and watch HeroesCCL on Saturday and Sunday. You can also play Heroes the Storm over at this esports center and get yourself some extra experience on your account, and you can play all of the heroes as they are unlocked at this little LAN center. So if you'd like to go ahead and check this out, or you just want to find out some more information about Next Level Gaming, you can use !NXT in chat to find out all about Next Level Gaming. Thank you for joining us for Season 3 of CCL. And also, Grubby and Justin, we've got Season 3 merch. We've got some extra merch coming out for this season, and it is going to be exciting to be able to, have some new flashy gear around town. You can use !merch in chat to find out all about that. And one last thing before we start talking about these rosters, Grubby and Justin, this is a big one. It's one of our moderators' birthday. It's Kai Berry's birthday today. So in chat, I want to see all of the birthday pop cats, all of the Feels birthday mans. I just want to see, when I watch back this VOD, I just want a wall of happy birthdays to Kai. We really do appreciate all of your hard work, and happy birthday once again. But Grubby and Justin,
happy birthday to no, we're not doing this.
I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this. But let's start talking about some rosters, because I'm super excited about this first best of 5, Grubby, and we've got Simplicity roster in front of our eyes.
Yep, Fancy Pants, Legacy, Masquerade, Mene, Unaverted, and Cure. 5 of these 6 players will be looking to make short work of their Granit Gaming opponents, and they've got the chaps to do it. Mene, Legendary Mage, Unaverted, a relatively newer, amazing ranged assassin, adept at many different assassin roles. Masquerade, one of the best tanks. Legacy, a Brightwing terror. And Fancy Pants has been impressing on the offlane. It seems like this team has no weaklings.
No weak links whatsoever. Even in their substitute Cure, who played in week number 2, he was dominant on that variant and pretty much any role he touched that day. But let's talk about this Granit Gaming roster, Justin, because we got a couple big names and a pretty good series last weekend from them.
Yeah, Granit Gaming looked a lot better last weekend in their match against Chili Mountain. And we've got Henning on the support, Red Robot playing the tank. Skog has swapped over to that ranged flex position. Bompkarada playing the offlane, and Gia, who's also playing that ranged position. And they did make the recent addition of Carbon, so we'll see whether or not he gets playtime. He's the newest member on this team, and yeah, that's new. And it'll be interesting to see whether they choose to play him. And with the addition of Red Robot last weekend, that really seemed like it breathed new life into this team. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds for them against Simplicity.
Carbon definitely has a few ranged assassins that I've seen in the past really, really strong. The Li Ming is one that stands out in my memory, so if we do get to see Carbon, I'd love to see that Li Ming play from him. But we've talked about these rosters enough. I wanna get everyone at home kind of caught up as to where we're heading for map number 1, because we've got all that information for you at home. And Grubby, yeah, I know, we're starting out on Alterac Pass. We're starting on one of the most macro heavy based maps we have in Heroes of the Storm. But how we got here, well, it's going to be Granit Gaming winning the coin flip, opting for first pick priority and banning out Tomb. We also had Simplicity banning out Battlefield of Eternity. And well, as we get into this draft, Grubby, what's your excitement? Because I already hear you gasping, and maybe you already got some ideas for this draft.
Gasping, scuffing, scoffing, and everything. All the sounds I'm making them because they banned 2 of the best maps, Battlefield and Tomb, and they decided to go with Alterac first, while leaving Volskaya Foundry up. Now, I like a good bit of Alterac and Volskaya, but generally they are some of the more avoided maps. Having both of those up while removing 2 of the classical maps is certainly an interesting turn to be taken today.
Yeah, it's Simplicity. banning Tomb and banning Tomb and BOE kind of feels bad, man. Those are some of my favorite maps to watch, but we're gonna get to see some macro prowess coming out from the side of Simplicity, I feel, in this series. And I think one thing to point out is Mene on Simplicity really gonna be probably prioritizing that Falstad or that Zagara. That's like one thing that I think will be a little bit different here on Eldritch Pass.
Well, looking at some of our history and records right now, we're still very early for stats, but just a little point here. Simplicity, one of their few losses in season 3 of CCL was on Battlefield, and Granite Gaming, I mean, they've lost on quite a few maps, but Tomb was another map they've lost on. We have no data whatsoever on Granite Gaming on this map, so it's going to be exciting to see what their priority will be, and we've already got a couple globals prioritized in this draft, Grubby.
Yeah, exactly. Brightwing, Dahaka, who are still there. ETC, Vikings, Abathur, for instance, are still there. We've got Falstad, of course, and, well, no Falstad prioritization for Mene. He's got options. He can also play Zagara or some of the forgotten mages in Kel'Thas and Gul'dan. So on this map, we gotta think of that Falstad Zagara. So, as Granite Gaming, if you are expecting a Falstad or Zagara, how about some of the classical counters to it, like Illidan or Zeratul or Tracer? They already have Brightwing to protect those picks and to help them. I think some of those might be great. Or, they can go Falstad themselves.
I like the Falstad. I think that's really important that they got that. I was kind of worried that Simplicity was going to get the Haka Falstad on the 1-2, and I think that would have been a really, really scary opener to deal with on Eltric Pass. So I like that they took the Falstad. I think taking the Johanna here is a little early, but I guess as we saw last week when Storm first picked it in most of their games, I guess Johanna's just good on Eltric Pass, so I can't complain about it too much.
I mean, like, we've all talked about tank priorities, and I feel like Johanna, like, she is kind of that resident sleeper tank, but when it comes to like aggressiveness and utility, I feel like a Nubrak and Murden, they're kind of our top 2 tanks right now, Justin.
Yeah, I think I definitely would have preferred to see Murden. I think Murden is in a really good place right now.
Same.
I think that he's probably just overall the best tank. I don't think there's any situation where you can't pick him. The change to the talent rework, I think, was really, really huge for him because it allows you to play the game a lot smarter into level 10, and then you get the quest stacks for free for the double Q, the double Stormbolt. So and then that combined with his fire at 13, I think is really, really strong. So I think he's just really, really nuts right now. So I'm expecting to see more Murdens as the season continues.
Justin,
getting Vala in nuts.
Don't you think Murden is an issue when you're trying to defend against a Zeratul or a Tracer?
I mean, if you hit your Stormbolts, no. And you can also go Haymaker. I think there's the opportunity to go either Haymaker or go Avatar, and then those heroes don't necessarily do the amount of damage that it takes to kill him. It's kind of similar to like Diablo. Like, you don't really want to be a Tracer or a Zeratul into Diablo. And Avatar Murden, I think, kind of fills that same role, that if you build your draft around that, you can kind of just have an invincible Murden.
So we got a lot to break down because there's been quite a few pickups right now, and got to get your thoughts here, Grubby, because the draft is kind of starting to close up a little bit.
Well, Sonia, is it going to be Leap Falling Sword? I seem to remember Granit running that a lot last season. Things like Judgment, Leap, and Falling Sword. I would imagine so, to interrupt the Deckard sleep. Justin?
Yeah, I think the Sonia will probably be Leap. I think if not, it'll be really, really hard to play into the double ranged with Vala and Lunara. I think that Vala and Lunara are kind of the premier ranged hyper carries right now in the meta. So getting both of those is really strong, but getting those with a Deckard might be a little bit tough because Deckard doesn't have that one-shot negation that some of the supports have. So I'm expecting to see, hopefully, Granite Gaming look for a quick one-shot composition with the Leap on the Sonya, and maybe just try to sort of play their slight macro advantage with the Falstad. I'd say the drafts are relatively even, though. I don't think either team has a crazy advantage in the draft.
There's some decent blind value into the side of Simplicity from the Joanna, the Lunara, Vala could be hindered a little bit from that. Gust is a good disengage tool, and there's some grenades for control as well. I personally, I mean, from week to week, I mean, if we take away the names, we're just looking at the drafts. Like, yeah, I do really like what Granite Gaming has put together, but looking at the names and who we're seeing matchup wise, like I very much lean into Simplicity for this potential win on Alterac Pass. It's a good draft from both sides, but I feel like this Lunara adjusting, like Lunara, once they hit level 7, is just so devastating. 10 talents here with Thornwood Vines really just amplifies the burst ability as well.
Yeah, getting Lunara involved that late in the draft, I think in general should be a big no-no. So for that reason, I think Simplicity has a slight edge in the draft. I think that Tychus is going to struggle to get much value in this game unless they're just immediately one-shotting targets against the Deckard Kane.
Do you think we could see a Draken Laser Drill possibly for zoning control, or is it just Commandeer Odin because it's just so good?
Probably just Odin, because it's really hard for him to get value in his normal Tychus form against the front line of the Haka and the Nubrak.
Alrighty. Well, Justin, thank you for the breakdown, the analysis. We'll see you after Alterac Pass because we are loaded on in to our game number 1, and we have got on the left-hand side Simplicity in the blue. Legacy will be playing the Deckard, Dahaka to be played by Pants. We got Mene on the Lunara, Unaverted on the Vala, and Masquerade on the Anubarak. Over on the Granite Gaming side, we have got Skoog on the Tychus, Swamp Grata on the Sonya, Red Robot to play the Joanna, Henning on the right wing, and Gia to play the Falstad. Grubby, I'm itching. I gotta know what you think about these drafts, the matchup, maybe your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert, probably spekkoek, which is Dutch. It's kind of Indonesian, super sweet, gelatinous, cinnamon, pandan leaf endowed goodness with eggs and butter. And I used to be able to eat a full cake by myself, but now I can't even eat 4 slices without getting nauseous. Its capacity for dessert unrivaled. It's really good. Favorite dessert. I think both teams are really good. They're comps.
Yeah.
But Granite Gaming's looks a little squishier, a little bit more all-in oriented. And so fights that drag on could be hard for them, in my mind. Vala Lunara tend to fend really well for themselves against anything but like a devastating all-in. I'm not sure Johanna brings that, but Red Robot did impress. It was part of the only victory so far for Granite Gaming. And while I would normally write this off as a 3-0, this matchup, the strengths of these players, the draft has been pretty good by Granite.
Yeah.
And they did win their series last week. I think we can at least expect a 3-1 with Granite winning a map, I would expect. So let's see if that's going to be a thing. For now, we're going to have Tychus and Brightwing start to take the Hogger camp. In the meantime, we've got Deckard and Vala as well doing the same thing. That's a lot of potions, actually. Putting more than necessary because Legacy felt, hey, I'm going to port anyway. And in case Vala gets engaged upon, then hey, she's got a bonus 1,000 health.
That's, like, you said something kind of perfect while I was looking at the level 1 talents, Grubby, and you're saying Granite Gaming doesn't want these drawn-out fights. Unaverted with the Creed of the Hunter level 1 absolutely wants a dragged-out fight because they can sit there and slowly build. Lunara, she loves the dragged-out fights to just apply a lot of Nature's Toxin and then burst someone down with the available Choking Pollen level 7 to have that 200% increase on damage. And a little bit of an attempted gank onto Falstad and bottom, and Masquerade not able to line everything up as perfect as he wanted. So no kills just yet. And Vala, she's still working on that level 1. I think Granite Gaming is doing a great job of being conscious of her stacking and making sure that Unaverted can't sit there and just, like Azul Jin, dump axes or arrows into someone to be able to get this build in the auto attack level 1 Creed of the Hunter. So just good back and forth from either side. And then also on this level 1, I like the counter from Red Robot going into Zealous Glare, and at level 20, he doesn't go for the Falling Sword upgrade. You can go for the Blinded by the Light, I believe it is, and you can actually get cooldown reduction from your shield glares, which are synergistic with your level 1, the double shield glare. So cool builds potential for Red Robot. We'll have to see how everything kind of comes together towards the end of this game.
Exactly, and you know, I'm glad that you highlighted Johanna's options in heroics as well, level 20s or otherwise, because Falling Sword is the assumption here, but I could really see a case for Blessed Shield as well. A Nubarak that burrow charges in tends to need results immediately, otherwise he becomes a target, especially when burning some of his crowd control. If the Haka gets zoned out by a polymorph and the Nubarak does a burrow charge that gets blocked by a cleanse or by Iron Skin on Johanna, then a Blessed Shield would make short work of him. Sonya could leap on the Haka to prevent Stay a While and Listen, and then you've got Blessed Shield and Falstad and Tychus all looking at a Nubarak. In theory, that could work. They could blow him up before Vala Lunara managed to destroy their own target. There's a bit more burst on the side of Granite. So I do like Blessed Shield. It does need good coordination, though.
I think the Falling Sword utility is really cool, but I think I feel like everyone just takes Falling Sword at this point because they're like, it does the unstoppable thing, and then if we hit level 20, then we get the increased damage and all that kind of cool stuff. But I personally, I agree with you. I love Blessed Shield.
Fight in a mid.
Little fight. It was attempted, little scuffle, but it's immediately disengaged.
You're so right. That's definitely what's happening. People are thinking about that level 20 and then sometimes just forgetting that, hey, even a relatively weak heroic like Blessed Shield can get the job done and get some important kills.
It's a 50-second cooldown as well, so you have that for almost every single fight, if not a very you get it twice in a very not delayed out, dragged on fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Gia gets the phase shift just in time.
Face roll and then face shift. Oh, this time can I get an Uberock? Nice spear. First blood by Granit Gaming against Simplicity. Very, very, very impressive. Masquerade already in that situation once before. And they get the cap right before the triangle hits.
I was watching last night with Justing for the Heroes Rise Contender Series. There was on Towers of Doom, Vin did the same thing with a Tracer, like just at the pixel perfect moment actually stalled out of Sylvanas from getting the channel on the bell towers, but there's a huge scroll of ceiling from Legacy, but it's not going to be enough to get a kill. So many Granite Gaming members going low, but no one to fall. And we might see a little bit of a reset from the Granite Gaming side with that Tychus Brightwing needing a lot more health.
Mena was putting out some sick damage there, poisoning everybody. Brightwing, it was all she could do to try to save her allies. Nice hold by Henning on that cleanse, making sure to hit it as the triangle hit. He could have procced it on the slow as well to try to dodge the triangle completely, but if he would have miscalculated, they'd be rooted and dead for sure. Now they are oh, leap on Lunara! She has leaping strike as well, but already got taken out. Yo, I'm liking how Granite Gaming is playing this. They're collapsing, they're converging, they're globaling, and they keep trying to make opportunities there. They've already been paid off twice. Fantastic job. Nice using leap, a heroic for a single kill. Johanna still hiding her heroic. Could be Blessed Shield, spear from Swamp Grotto misses. Pants flanking, threatening on the side. Cap attempt. The triangle, Masquerade trying to get the next interrupt. Tychus getting attacked. Drag Tongue misses. And things normalize. Lunara comes back. And let's look at the Hellbat camp. It is doing gate damage now. Falstad has to take care of it. Pants with a quick channel. 18 seconds left. Can they get the interrupt? It looks like Simplicity is getting back map control.
Momentum is shifting back and forth between these teams as the spear will connect onto Dahaka. A Haragic Cube does stall out the channel onto this objective from Legacy. And it seems like this is just a back out from Simplicity. Masquerade sitting in the bush, just throwing an impale onto Red Robot. And I'm just looking really quickly. Vala, 38 stacks. She is Unaverted's, I wouldn't say struggling with this, but I think Unaverted's really, really getting shut down in these stacks with the Cell's glare value, and just, as I was mentioning earlier, the positioning of Granite Gaming to play away from the Vala, who wants to just kind of poke at the wave and poke at heroes in between everything. So I look at Swamp Grotto in the bush. Is there a leap? Yes, the collapse once again!
Wow.
This is so well played from Granite Gaming. They are just waiting for the most one step too far out of the front gate area and they can punish. This is a different Granite Gaming we're seeing this weekend as the Commandeer will be summoned, Grubby.
Leaping strike, there's the pop on Swamp Grotto coming in with the phase shift, giving a little bit of the pixie dust to stop the poison damage. Did they bite off more than they could chew? Odin gets cocooned, but I think Granite Gaming is handling this very, very nicely. And I agree with you, Bahamut. There's something different. There's something in the air. There's a quality to Granite Gaming tonight. A confidence, a coordination. I think they've been putting the work in. They've been seeing that prize pool go up. They've been bolstering their ranks, gaining new motivations with their Red Robot on the team now. They already have 3 kills. But it needs to be mentioned, Simplicity's been holding their own. We look at the XP bar. Pants has been putting in some work, as have the other members.
It's been equal in experience, even though there's 3 kills, and I'm actually trying to check out myself where that deficit... It's minions, yeah, as you were saying. Like, if we look at the experience breakdown, you've got, like, there should be, like, a 2-ish K difference with the heroic kills, but Fancy Pants, just doing these rotations, constantly getting the minions soaked. I like this. I really like that we're still equalized. It's 13 up on both sides. We still have our first objective phase of this map, as Masquerade doesn't get delayed out by Henning, but Skoog has the grenade to do so. We do have Swamp Grotto with the leap up and available. It is a Blessed Shield Joanna as well. I don't think you and I even touched on this, so there is that follow-up value into the leap from Sonya, or vice versa, Bless into leap. I like what Granit's put together. How strong can they hold this slight advantage when it comes to kills and momentum?
Verdit and Gia a little bit threatening each other. Anubarak in trouble again. Masquerade has been attacked often. It was Bless Shield and Leap this time. That does mean that they failed the kill. A lot of damage coming in on Johanna. Will the Brightwing pop? No, she gets silenced by Pans. Mighty Gust to try and slow everybody down. It kind of works out. There's an interrupt as well on Deckard. Henning will be falling though. And with that, stay a while and listen interrupted. Gust decent, but not good enough. Brightwing couldn't get away. Didn't have a blink away point, in fact, as she tried to put everything into saving Johanna. Henning unable to save Johanna with that shift, got interrupted. Johanna got away, but she became the new target now without a Z to get out. Great job by Simplicity. It's their first kill under heavy duress. They were able to get this objective, and that's going to help them a lot.
We got the objective coming into lanes, Grubby. Do you want to get into one of these teams' comms and hear how they're getting along?
Yeah, let's look from the loser objective POV now, and maybe we can do a reversal later. Let's listen from Granit Gaming.
Into Granite we go.
Look for a play if you want.
Yeah, I have global as well. We can probably collapse mid. I can collapse mid if you want. Okay. Yeah, just save top and bot then.
Kom on, ska
I'm really low. I might gonna have to need a TP.
Oh, did I have
They're going bottom. They're going bottom.
Yeah, care. Okay, TP.
Yeah, I'm coming. I think I'm flying.
Kill me.
I'm flying away. They're coming for me.
TP in 3.
I can probably save this. Oh no, they have dig actually. Yeah, maybe you can save this.
Nah, I don't think we should greet here.
Nah. He's burrowing here.
If you need.
I'm gusting early.
Can we kill the Haka?
I don't see anything.
This guy
nice
can't.
Get out.
I don't see anything.
Cleansing. No. Nice.
We're fine.
I'll leap when I saw.
That was okay, I guess.
Can we also take top in contest? Can we contest boss? Brightwing top?
Okay, I'm recalling.
We need to get 16 though.
They're on it.
I mean,
they
these
use like Cocoon and shit, right?
Oh, we need to walk on it then.
Yeah, I'm
16.
catching top.
Okay.
TP is back up now.
I'm walking. Are we sure we want to take this fight?
We committed.
Yeah, we're getting 16
yeah.
top.
Oh, I got tongued.
Can we pull over the TP?
Oh, I'm one shot.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck
we
off
get
then.
Door cam. Maybe you're dead as well.
I've got in late.
We have leap out if worst case, right?
We're good. Careful, the Anubi's bounded.
Can we turn if...
The attempt to even threaten boss right there was immediately shut down as we hear, yeah, I'm one shot.
Yep. He could not press buttons, couldn't press unstoppable, and in theory, I mean, that was just really well played. Out of vision by Pants.
Yeah.
Perfect drag tongue, perfect timing, perfect follow-up by everybody. In theory, you can see drag tongue coming in and then press Iron Skin, but there's a delay. That was a nice deletion on Vala. Wow, perfect. Gust and the deletion on Vala, a high priority target. Can they now save the keep, or are they greeding for more kills? I'm looking at the keep. The keep will defend itself a bit. Odin is taking care of that. This seems risky. This kind of half-hearted attempt to chase, and it is being shut down by Simplicity. The keep will be alive with 20% health perhaps, or even less, 10, 15%. The defense has been made. Vala has been killed, and now the goal must be clear. With 20 seconds left on the timer, it's Hellbats into boss.
Siege camp, null camp going into mid. We have our prison locations opening up in 25 seconds. The quick call for boss into top lane. I'm going to look at the vision. Johanna is showing in this rotation. Sonya's showing a blip on the map as well. And Brightwing is showing in bottom lane. That's the vision really quickly for the side of Simplicity. So at least we kind of understand that, yeah, I think Simplicity knows that this is happening, but Masquerade will be scouted out in the bush from Gia. Gia does have the Gust up and available. Leap in from Sonya. There's a barrel roll forward from Falstad.
Wow.
And Masquerade is the one to get one shot this time. It's like they're just trading one shots back and forth between Granit and Simplicity.
Yeah.
This boss should go over to Granit. I don't see a world where Simplicity tries to invade. And now, this, I would assume, is null camp mid, boss and top, objective phase to go over to Granite Gaming. 30 seconds still on that death timer for Anubarak.
See, the null camp is 35 seconds away. The boss isn't actually going to attack forward at this rate. They need to rush for the objective right now. Bonus points for potentially trying to take down the Haka. Man, the tanks have been getting one shot. What happened to don't focus the tanks? Shake my SMH. But now they're starting the objective. As you've highlighted before, the second objective is 40 seconds. The final one being 50 seconds. So Anubrak should be back on time. There's a half-hearted attempt to attack the Haka. The classical 1v4 Haka attempt under 4 trying to drag down. But he moves out. Did he bite off more than he should chew? There's the leap.
Leap in from Sonya. The essence was used. Grata, though, will be punished. It's solo lane for solo lane. Vala dumping in. Rain of Vengeance after Rain of Vengeance to try and lock the enemy heroes down. But she actually is going to be able to slow things down. There's a route from Legacy avoided by Red Robot and Skoog. Mene leaping into the enemy team as there is going to be a cocoon, a blow up. Falstead, he barrel rolls away, but the Hungering Arrow is too hungry and does get that kill into Falstead. Crazy back and forth as now Red Robot will be falling, and it's Simplicity who will come out on top of this engagement. Simplicity who should have this objective phase, and Simplicity who are just turning around what seemingly are just horrible moments again and again.
Yeah, great positioning by them, recognizing that there is going to be that moment where not only will the objective capture attempt start for Granit, but they're also going to want to 4v1 the Haka. Pants there, or 5v1. Pants there is doing what he can to make that an attractive play. And I actually think that was a really good sacrifice, like a great int, to be honest, from Pants. As he knew, like, yeah, he knows how people think about those odds. I'm alone under my fort. Maybe he'll burn some heroics. And then Lunara came in. And I think we got a replay of that moment right here, so we can look just how Pants sells a trade deal as we start the replay. He's selling the trade deal. Look, he's like, yeah, I'm half-life. I'm gonna go in, I still have Burrow, I'm gonna dodge Thunderstrike. I know you want to go for me, but I also know that my team is coming in with the flank. He goes down, much had been used, and Legacy gets a monster stay out. Listen, 2 cleanses were used by Red Robot and by Skog, the Odin and the Iron Skin. Now he can't get away. Now it's Legacy actually carrying this fight with those huge slows, the triangles, the squares, all the shapes, all the kid shapes, and he knows just where to put them. A great puzzle player, then unaverted on the side. Get the Hungering Arrow kill on Falstad. Back to the present, we can see that even now the push has begun with the objective phase. Pushing in, another leap on Vala, there's a mighty gust, Vala gets deleted by Polymorph. The Haka, firm CC'd as well. He tries to get away with the cloak, but he can't. Deckard, the Haka and Vala have all been smashed to smithereens, ejected out of orbit. And with those 3 kills, I'm looking at the boss timer, the bottom boss, and I'm looking at it, and it should be available when this objective is cleared up. And what did this realistically get, Bahamut? Nothing.
Yeah, I'm trying to take stock on the map. Keep front gate, maybe a keep front gate. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, keep front gate.
Nothing. So you use your globals to get the Hellbat camp now, the Marauder camp, the Siege camp, and then you go for the boss. That was a great triple deletion. Now keep in mind, 2 structures versus 6. Yeah. Granit is still behind. They need to not just get this boss and the Hellbats, but they need to get much result out of it. And I'm thinking they'd only be satisfied with 3 forts at least. I don't think this takes you all the way to the keep. It's too dangerous. Yeah. The bottom fort is a guarantee. I think you cycle to mid with the Hellbats as the boss pushes. I think we need 4 to 5 members on mid fort, take that down, and then you've created the space and distance to cycle top and take down that fort as well. But that's just me thinking. I want to see what Granit is thinking and how they're going to play it out.
Hey, I mean, the General Grubby, the Master Tactician in Age of Empires is really starting to come out right now in these rotations and these calls, but I completely agree with you. I think it's, throw boss in bottom lane, move into mid, clear that out, and actually there could have been a quick rotation to top lane because that top boss is only 20-some seconds away, but it seems like the priority is bottom lane for Granit Gaming. Commandeer Odin is called down, big red button is here, boss still sitting around 75% HP as the Deckard lands a massive route, but it doesn't have any sort of follow-up value. Red Robot's standing still, so he's completely invisible in that location, so he isn't technically showing. He's doing what Justing has brought up a lot, the vision manipulation or tank vision manipulation as well. Really well played from Red Robot in case there was a step up. But speaking of things being stepped up, mid lane camp comes through. Falstead needs to clear this out. The Haka did press this wave into the top lane as well, so a lot of things are crashing into the side of Granit Gaming. And while this isn't taking down keeps, they're still, from the side of Simplicity, whittling down at the defenses of Granit Gaming. And Grubby, for anyone that might be new to Alterac Pass, why is it so important to take down more than 1 keep on this map?
Yeah, the core is armored. It's too strong with just one keep down. So one keep on every map is win condition, not on this one. And so you need at least 2 keeps, and the bosses do that. The mid Hellbats do that in the center. I don't like the way Granit played this. They got the keep, but it doesn't do anything by itself. It is a part, it's a means to an end. The problem is, hold that thought, they're gonna go for the Haka Polymorph vulnerability. He gets away with just about 5% health or so. Now is his revenge. He gets the isolation on Tychus. Mighty Gust is gonna slow down the front line, not affect the back line much. Red Robot is taking massive damage here. Bro, he keeps walking forward. I don't know what he's doing. We had the front line disabled. The front line was disabled. He did not need to be there, and he keeps walking forward. I don't get it, actually. The Mighty Gust was not affecting Vala Lunara. They were free dumping damage on him. Big mistake, in my opinion. But back to that macro call of getting the keep, I think they should have played it how I said, the forts, because now they created such a distance. By going for bottom keep with the boss and securing the keep, they created too much distance for themselves to Simplicity being able to take the top boss. Not only that, but they lost half of their mid keep. Had they controlled mid and top and forget about the keep, they would be in a position to maybe defeat the boss. But let's look at this moment here. Masquerade, he got bopped big time. And now they're going for the Haka as well. Oh my god, a little bit of a blunder there. Simplicity's so greedy. They've got the objective. They've got the 5v4. Oh, the Mighty Gust on the Haka. Sorry, on Deckard, they're gonna try to take him down as well. A massive blunder by Simplicity, getting that greedy. Legacy should be dead here, and if Meta is not careful, he may go down as well.
Oh, there it is.
Legacy, Skog secures the kill with the grenade. Man, how did this game suddenly turn around? This should have been a happy occasion for Simplicity. They should be holding hands and riding off into the moonset. Instead, they're sulking in the rain.
I'm honestly surprised. Like, that camp was, I think you said it perfectly, Grubby. That was so greedy. Like, Masquerade goes in, dies. Fancy Pants steps in, dies. And then they're still kind of floating around the objective phase. And then Legacy gets chased and dies. Like, that is not the Simplicity that I was expecting to see in that fight. The Red Robot and the rest of Granite Gaming are now trying to take advantage of this opened up map with Decker Kane respawning in about 15 seconds. Lunar gets a leaping strike. Sonya tries to go for the leap, misses the leap.
He did a leaping strike, actually, Swamgrota.
Oh my god.
He's like, oh, I leap over you, I do damage, right? I see you doing it. Oh, it doesn't work for me. Little embarrassing display there. We have a Blessed Shield and a leap, missing Linara. One got dodged. I mean, Mena with the outplay. He dodges the Blessed Shield with leaping, which offers unstoppable frames. But Sonya just straight up overshoots. There's 2 short cooldowns, nonetheless being used there to try and get Linara. Good play by Mena. At the end of the day, though, hold tight a little bit, and Granite Gaming still has a good thing going. Yes, they are 0 keep against 2 keeps and a fort, but they've got the objective, and they're going to try to make the most of it. We've got big red button. The only way I can see this going horribly wrong is if Skog gets one shot before he can press Odin, and he's not going to let that happen. There we go. We're going to go with the big red button. They're going to try to siege down this keep. The general does go down very quickly.
The Horde Cavalry coming into these lanes, still pushing out through the top, which has already taken about 25% damage. Bottom lane arriving to the exposed lane, but this is going to be the opportunity for that Commandeer Odin to try and equalize and open up the mid lane keep. Will go down, so it's a win condition on either side as this Cavalry phase, at least, okay, no, the mid and bottom will end. Top lane still healthy. They could maybe go for the Ford, or Granite Gaming plays it safe and backs away and just kind of, no, they don't play it safe. They push him with this, right?
Yeah, they're pretending that Falstad is the only one here while setting a trap to gank the counter gank. And then it's not pretense anymore. The lie becomes the truth. He actually was the only one there, and they're setting up for bottom boss. And keep in mind, they've got invisible friends. And they're all friends here. We're all friends here, right? So that is it. And you know what? If you've got invisible friends, don't stand in bushes. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Red Robot's positioning is critical.
Yeah, Red Robot stands smart. Swamgrota, good. GR, good. Bushes, illegal, because they're going to check that with skill shots anyway.
You know...
no.
Hold on, I'll hold my thought. Yeah, there's... Ouch. Oh, great gust against the wall. Legacy just stands still. Yeah, I had a great game.
Like bracing for impact.
It's just he's like, okay, here it comes, but no one actually stepped into Legacy. It is going to be Red Robot stepping into Fancy Pants. The Polymorph does come through. We do have the Commandeer Odin down. Isolation does connect onto the Joanna. She will go down. She had Radiating Faith at level 20, so the auto indestructible wasn't available for her, and that's an unfortunate factor. I feel like the indestructible would have been nice in this matchup because there's just so much blow up that we've been seeing back and forth. Regardless, this is going to be a drag connecting. Polymorph onto Fancy Pants, does pop the essence, has a few potions from Deckard Cain. Another objective phase is up and available. Masquerade down for 15 seconds. Red Robot dead for 35. Seems like both teams disengage. Do you want to point out Vala? She's got 122 stacks, and since she has died twice, she has 15% bonus attack speed from that level 1 Creed of the Hunter. But no, it's a re-engage on the boss.
100 stacks for GL on the Gathering Storm. Jana is not here. Anubrak is coming back. This is risky. Oh no! Granit Gaming! Tychus dies. Jana wasn't here yet. Anubrak was coming. They know that if they lose this boss, it is GG. That's why they're kind of stepping up, trying to create favorable moments. But now I think that's just it. I don't think you can defend this boss. Well,
not with the tools available. No, I mean, there's no Gust. Leap less shield one shot. I just don't think you have enough damage in this as well. So yeah, I think it's you clear out a couple waves, you throw a null camp through mid, and you try and defend your best through bottom. Odin will be up. I don't think
that null camp does anything. Like I don't think the mid even matters anymore. The top kind of matters. That wave may collapse on Korra together with the boss, but the only choice, the only option that Granit has now is delete someone like Lunara, Vala.
Masquerade lands the cocoon. Fancy Pants does have the isolation available. It hits the drag immediately. There's a leap in from Sonya. Vala dumping in a Rain of Vengeance or two to the Faceless Swamp Grotto, who does pop their level 20. Ignore Pain. Mene with, the snipe from Skook as he does respawn. He's got Commandeer and he will be utilizing it, but the boss, the core, it's taking too much damage, and it's going to be the members of Simplicity cleaning. Wait, hold on. Let me hold that. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be Simplicity who takes game number 1. Man, that would have been awkward if like, you have Drekthar living with like 20 HP or something like that, and everyone on Simplicity gets wiped. Like, that would have been awkward, but it's not the case. Simplicity does take map number 1 in our first best of 3 of the day, and I immediately got to bring Justin back into this one because there was a lot of, how to say this nicely, interesting moments in that game.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of interesting moments that happened there throughout the game. You could tell that Granit Gaming was playing a lot better, though, than they have since in week 1 and 2. So that's good to see. Their early game was a lot stronger this time. They were really controlling the early game with their one-shot composition, and they were executing it fairly well. But we could kind of tell that it felt like it sort of just didn't work as the game progressed. As it got later into the game, they would need to use all of their tools to execute that one-shot. And if that one-shot didn't go for a perfect 1-for-0, then they would basically just straight up lose the fight. You saw when Dahaka baited bottom and traded 1-for-1. A 1-for-1 trade is not winning for Granit. As soon as they use their one-shot combo with the leap, if it fails, they just can't fight for 60 seconds. They have to wait. They can't do anything. And we saw that that was kind of the theme of the game overall, was Granit Gaming executing their one-shot and then not having enough in the not enough left to continue fighting. When they fought around that bottom boss, it ended up being where they got the pick onto Masquerade with the Invisible Friends and the one-shot. But then after that, Simplicity just straight up took a 4v5. They postured and then took a 4v5 and actually came out ahead winning that 4v5, and that's what actually won the game for Simplicity. So Simplicity just understanding how their team composition works and being brave enough to fight that straight up 4v5 was very deserving of the win, considering that it's really a tough call to make, to say, we lost a member, let's just outskill them 4 versus 5, which is what they did, and that's kind of what their comp excels at, is they know that that one-shot tool is gone, so they can go in. So really back and forth, though. Wasn't either team in control for the whole game, so that's good to see. These teams do appear to be pretty evenly matched overall.
Yeah, it was a 10 to 15 in kills, and funny enough, it's the team with the least amount of kills actually won the game. It's usually quite the opposite in a lot of CCL games, or even the games that we play at home as well. I think you make a perfect point, Justin, and I want to just kind of circle back to this, because there was the moment in mid lane, and I don't know if production has a replay of this. We might see it at some point here in the replays, but there was that leaping strike moment where Mene outplayed the leap from Sonya, and the Blessed Shield and the leap missed on the side of Granit, and Mene didn't die, and I think that was the moment where it's like, okay, that's it. Like, literally they can't find the kill anymore because the two forms of major CC were not available for the next 60 seconds. So I think it is also the adaptation and the learning that we saw from Simplicity as they kind of figured out how to counteract this Granit Gaming playstyle. And the cool thing was, as you were mentioning with that bottom lane boss, Simplicity loses one, but still wins a 4v5. And I think that's a great example as to just how well they played overall. And Grubby, I got to get your thoughts closing out that map as well. Is there a big takeaway from you on this one?
Yeah, I'm just super happy that they played on par so much. I'm not looking at just the mistakes. I think it's funny, it's exciting to see those. I think both teams were just really good at one-shotting whoever came close. It's way more fun to see people layer their CC effectively, play out of vision, get the good accuracy, and then delete, than to see tanks keep running away. And Masquerade and Red Robot were spared no grief from their adversaries in how they got deleted. That was great to see. Very back and forth, super enjoyable game of Alterac, and a great promise of what's to come in the rest of the series if they keep it up this way.
I love the momentum and the skill that we're seeing from Granit Gaming, because this is definitely a Granit Gaming that has come off that win from last week, and they're showing a lot more skill and communication as well. When we were in those comms, there was a lot of actually good things that we did hear about, oh, I can't see anything when they were getting hit with the isolation, or just trying to find target calling and shot calling. I think there was a lot of really, really good stuff that we're seeing in the growth of Granit Gaming as the season is progressing. But it's not over just yet. It's a best-of-5 series, and we're getting ready for our second map in this series. It's very, very fun to just see the play style from both these teams evolve, as well as the priority into tanks and stuff like that. I'm liking what the CCL meta is looking like, and a lot more Creed of the Hunter Grubby than I was expecting to see when we had those changes onto Vala.
Yes, exactly. You see that in the bottom right. Pretty cool. Yes, exactly. A lot more Creed of the Hunter. And the donations, we reached 4K. Yes.
I was looking at the corner of your box and I was just like, is Logan there? Like,
what's wrong with Justin's shoulder?
Yeah, I was like, Grubby, do you have an itch? Like what's up, bud? But wow, no, actually, thank you everyone at home for hitting 4K. We'll definitely have to get the pets on stream at some point. Thank you everyone for your support. We really do appreciate it. But I do want to actually ask you, Grubby, like, when Vala had this rework, were you expecting to see so much auto attack build Vala in comparison to the other choices?
No, and to be fair, we did have multi-shot nerfed several times, Hungering Arrow buffed and then re-nerfed to what it was. But still, no, I did not expect that. And I thought if we are going to see Vala with the auto attack talent, it's going to be with double frontline, double healer. That's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing it by its own right. We're seeing it punished sometimes. There are some leaps that end her. But as with all Gambit talents, there's a bit of inherent baseline advantage that you can build up that can never be taken away. So like at the worst Gambit performance, it's a worse talent, but it still exists. At the best Gambit performance, it's great. And that's kind of how these are structured and built. And it's fun. Unaverted, I think he's getting value out of those because he's saving mana with it as well. When he takes the siege camp, he can do so with better auto attacks, quicker, higher damage, and doesn't have to spam Hungering and multi-shot.
Conserves mana and conserves, abilities for later on team fights or immediate team fights in that. But let's talk about where we're going to head to for our next map, because we got more team fights, Justin, as we're going to be heading into Cursed Hollow, the map choice of Simplicity.
Yep, Simplicity saying that we want to play the macro maps. That's what they're doing here with them banning BOE, picking Eltric before and picking Cursed now. It's good to see that they're kind of going back to what made them successful in the past, even if this is a pretty different roster from the past. That was kind of Simplicity's main selling point before, is they would sort of just win through macro, through split push and that type of stuff. And it's good to see that the members that are still left from that roster still appreciate that playstyle and still want to kind of carry through with that, because that is what won in seasons 1 and 2.
As we're loading into Cursed Hollow, the thing that I'm kind of just waiting to find out is what's going to be the Mene pick. Does he go for Zagara? Does he get that Falstad? Is it going to be a Gul'dan or Kael'thas? That's kind of the flavor for me as we're getting into this, Grubby. I want to get your expectations or excitement for this Curse Hollow map.
Yeah, I think we've got our eyes on Falstad and Zagara, but we've already seen that Mene's hero pool is a little deeper than that. Not just 2 heroes, probably a lot more. And we'll see what his team calls upon him to be playing here. Lunara, obviously a great pick. Is she as good on Cursed Hollow? I will say a little bit less. The Wisp vision is fantastic, but she does suffer just a tiny bit from being synchronized in rotation with her team. At minus 10% movement speed is a bit of a debuff when trying to go from top to bot or vice versa. However, there is that exploit, or let's say optimization, where if you keep hitting stop on Lunara every 1.5 seconds or so, you can stay on the higher end of the oscillating movement speed and remove the lower end. Did you guys know about that one?
No, actually, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's
So Lunara's movement speed, if this is 20%,
Yeah.
her movement speed goes like this.
yeah.
So if you keep hitting stop after the hill, you never go to the valley. So you're like moving like this all the time instead of like this.
Yeah, it looks really goofy if you see someone who's good at it doing it.
Okay.
They really hop.
I'm thinking this is it just reminds me of like Resident Evil speed runs where they do the ADS when they're going up and down stairs and they just kind of like float up the staircase. So it's just making me think of immediately that. But we got Cursed Hollow here, and Falstad, that's up and available. Junkrat, it's already banned out. Not a lot of teams liking this Junkrat whatsoever, but I think Granite Gaming, they're considering the Falstad here, Justin.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see them take the Falstad. Both Brightwing and Dahaka are both banned, and so you have the support dynamic kind of nullified. You have Stukov and Brightwing banned, so there's no priority on those like there was last game where they first picked the Brightwing. And then, yeah, Dahaka and Brightwing being banned away. I'm glad they took the Falstad. I think Granite would be in a bit of trouble if they didn't. Simplicity, historically, has put a lot of priority onto the Anubarak. I don't know if they'll be doing that on this map. I'm not sure whether they just prioritize that on Altric for the objective control. And it appears as though they do just do that on Altric, so we probably won't find out what Masquerade's going to be playing until later on. I think Blaze Lunara, though, pretty perfect first 2 picks. I don't think you can really go wrong with that in a 5v5 setting, but they're not necessarily the macro heroes that they might need on Cursed Hollow.
Do either of you know if there's a Vikings player on either of these sides? Because I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if Svampgrada has a Vikings in their repertoire. I don't know,
Not good enough, I think, for CCL.
Okay.
Like, he probably plays it. I seem to remember him playing it, and it's decent, but it's not like the top Viking mains in the world.
Okay.
It's a risky pick anyway. Like, these teams are going to be really good at deconstructing that. When I look at top picks against Vikings, Diablo, Falstad, Tychus, Lunara are actually part of those. Since Falstad, Tychus are some of the ranged assassins that can secure kills on stray Vikings, Diablo gets 10 souls from Viking kills, and Lunara's got that movement speed to follow a Balog or Eric. Or maybe a Balog or an Olaf all the way home as well.
Eric can be a little too swift sometimes. There is going to be respect onto Masquerades and Nubrak right there. So we could see him on Joanna. I'm actually trying to think off the top of my head. We've seen Joanna, May... Okay, so Tyrael has been picked up as well. I was like, man, I'm like, what other tanks have we seen Masquerade play? And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, no, last week when I was like, oh, I don't know about this Tyrael. And then he's like, no, this is how you play Tyrael. And we actually did have a Tyrael win last week for the first time. But as we get into these next 2 picks, it will be technically double tank with the Uther Murden. This is a very bruisery composition.
I like that a lot. I think the Uther priority is abnormally low right now in the CCL. Nothing really changed with Uther, and from last season, at the end of the season, Uther was pretty much getting first pick banned almost every single game, and now he's been mostly just unpicked, mostly just gone completely undrafted. I think the Uther's still really, really strong, and I do like that. And unfortunately, they didn't leave their picks available on the side of Granite Gaming since they already picked their first 2, their ranged DPS. They didn't really leave themselves flexible to be able to counter a solo heal Uther. There's not a lot of spread damage options here in the offlane. They could have maybe considered like a Malfail, but that's not even really good here besides just to punish the Uther. So I think pretty smart drafting coming out from Simplicity. But I think that Granite Gaming's comp is fine. but I think that Simplicity's draft just makes a little bit more sense. I think it's a little bit more cohesive.
I'm trying to it's the same thing as the last game. I like both the drafts, but it's just when you look at the team names and the rosters, it's like I feel like Simplicity could execute and be the victor on this one. I mean, like, Granit Gaming had so many good moments in that last game, Justin. Like, part of me is like, maybe Granit Gaming can take a win, or do you think it's just like, no, Simplicity, they've got the momentum. They're just getting into second gear into the second map.
I definitely think that Granit can win. I think that their draft is pretty good, actually, at punishing Murden, which is pretty important. They have the Tychus and they have the Diablo and Anduin. They just have a lot of CC. But I feel like the Lunara is kind of a huge problem with the cleanse at 13, and then also Uther having cleanse. They might not really have any opportunities to lock Murden down, and while that's happening, Lunara is just going to be bombarding the side of Granit Gaming with damage, and betting against Unaverted on Hanzo is also a bit of a difficult thing to do. That's definitely one of his better heroes. He might be the best Hanzo in the CCL.
Oh, that's a bold statement. Grubby, sorry, did you have something as well?
No, I think so too. I think he has the best Hanzo. Possibly.
Ooh, yes, Hanzo possibly. So there's a lot to live up for Unaverted. He doesn't know that we've been hyping him up this as we're getting into the game, but I would agree absolutely. Like, Unaverted has definitely showcased a lot of skill on Hanzo. I feel like Unaverted's always the player to finish out his level 1 simple geometry like under 2 minutes or something crazy like that. But Justin, thank you for the analysis, the breakdown. I'm excited to see how this game plays out because we are loaded into Cursed Hollow. We'll see you, Justin, after map number 2, because on the left-hand side, we got Simplicity in the blue, Pants on the Blaze, Mene on the Lunara, Legacy on the Uther, Unaverted to play the Hanzo, and Masquerade on the Murden. In the red, we're looking at Granit Gaming, trying to build up their own momentum here, as we have Falstad played by Gia, Skoog on the Tychus, Swamp Grata on the Urel, Red Robot to play the Diablo, and Henning on the Anduin. Grubby, I gotta know, your favorite? No, I'm just kidding. What's your thoughts on this matchup though? Because I'm leaning in Simplicity for this one.
I think it's a fabulous healer choice in Uther. Oh, whoa, whoa! Skog baited him. He stood there and took it because he knew Diablo was in the flank. And that was a great angling by Red Robot. Nice damage on Murden. He will, of course, heal up. Uther should not waste Q heals on Murden typically, because he'll just heal himself with that second wind. I think Simplicity's got a bit of a better thing going on. It's really hard to reach Lunara Hanzo for the DPS of Granit, and Urel doesn't threaten themselves. Tychus, he's meant to focus frontline, and Uther does really well against that single target. The first blood goes to the Space Goat. Simplicity get that kill. Very nice job by them. Yeah, I think it's a big outdraft actually here by Simplicity.
I remember how I was singing the praises of Unaverted finishing level 1 very quickly.
Yeah.
10 stacks at 1 minute. Like, it was 6 stacks after the first engagement. 4 more stacks were gained from just Urel kill. That means that just like every single scatter went off the wall into Urel. Like, man, like Unaverted, just the angles. Like, it's one of those things that like I want to go back and like download the VOD so I can watch him. Like, how is he getting these angles? Because I got to figure out this geometry as well for my own Hanzo play. But it's going to be a really good, quick grab onto the Bruiser Camp for the mid lane. We will see a little bit of a delay on the Siege Giants for the top, but this timing on the Siege Giants is really good from Simplicity. Since the objective is bottom lane, getting the Siege Giants second and the Bruiser Camp first allows the delay in the opposing lane. So you can have this macro play. We talk about timing in camp, Grubby, from time to time, and this is a timing that's really, really good because the objective's in bottom. You put pressure into top, and now Granit Gaming, they have to split across the map, utilizing Falstad with his flight, or someone just has to be in that top lane, clearing out the Siege Giants, and then Simplicity can play the objective slow, because the Siege Giants are getting free siege to the top. So there's a lot of really, really cool nuance on this map when it comes to camp timing, rotations, and we got the first blood to showcase everyone at home how quickly Simplicity was able to just break down this Urel, Grubby.
Yeah, so what happened to Urel there? So he's rotating bot and Blaze is standing there and he's blocking her with the jet propulsion. This allowed Uther to walk up, get the unmissable stun, and then Murden had a stationary target to hit his Stormbolt on. So it's just a question of arriving first as the solo laner and then having the rest of the team converge. And unfortunate for Swamp Grotto. So the way he could have counterplayed this, knowing that solo laners that get somewhere first will set that up in this fashion as a big scatter hits Falstad, he could have jumped over the wall right away, not go past the obvious bush when you're that paranoid. And we saw that paranoia being used by Gia just now, about 30 seconds ago, when he was in the one-on-one with Lunara. He started trading, and he's like, wait, why are you happy to trade? I think I'm winning that trade. He just barrel rolled away premeditatively, because he's like, what if Murden's here? And sure enough, Murden was rotating up. So that was a safe heads-up play. Paranoia serves you really well in HoTS. And, you know, it's curiosity killed the cat. Sometimes I'm less safe than I should be, because I'm like, what if they're not there? Or I want to know if they're actually there, because you'll never know until you watch the replay. And just constantly playing safe against the monsters under the bed, it seems too much. But it absolutely pays off, and you need to nurture and train that.
So it's essentially Schrodinger's bush gank, essentially. Like, is there someone in the bush? Do I need to check the bush? If I don't check the bush, I'll never know.
And when you check it, they're always there.
Yeah, exactly.
When you don't check it, they're always there. And when you do play safe, they weren't. It's like it's rough. Blaze.
Blaze is actually fine right now. Legacy putting some pressure back onto Red Robot, and Red Robot does move out of this engagement. I do want to point out, we still have our first objective phase up. There was a point where there was like a lot of back and forth while the Siege Giants were being forced into top lane, and there was the clear into top lane. And then there was just like a few seconds of just like, all right, let's let the objective just sit, and just we'll re-engage around this. But Legacy takes so much damage, does go down. That will be the first kill for Granite Gaming as Gia flies into the flank position, trying to dump damage into Unaverted, who will get the agility over the wall. Masquerade does get the Dwarf Toss out of there, and Urel's Righteous Hammer kind of saving Fancy Pants, pushing him closer towards the gate. Masquerade looking for an interrupt as Skoog goes for the channel.
He's thinking of jumping in, but it seems risky to do that. Very nice angling by Red Robot. First and second kill for Granite Gaming. Comes at a price. Mena going full Zagara in the top lane with Lunara, and he's going to get like half a fort and the entire gate. A fantastic result for that singular tribute that Granite Gaming ends up picking up. A cool couple of kills. I think it was necessary kind of to play it this way for Granite Gaming. But they got out-globaled by Lunara.
Lunara was able to get some value into that top lane, and the trades this early on are not going to be yielding a ton of experience. We got 1,354 experience for the couple kills that we've seen on the side of Granite Gaming, and the experience is still kind of equal between both sides, as we do have experience gained in the minion department since Mene was still split pushing and grabbing that experience. So definitely Simplicity understanding, kind of mid-maxing their minion experience on a lot of these maps. We saw the same thing on Alterac Pass just now. 10 talent here coming through on both sides, and I'm skimming through the talents. Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm waiting to see what Anduin goes. I'm assuming it's Light Bomb, but sometimes Holy Word Salvation is a choice. No,
it seems crazy.
Yeah, I say, and then I'm like, there's way too much to just get rid of it. And Light Bomb onto Diablo or Urel, it's so good.
So let's see, we've got D-Shield, Leaping Strike, Bunker, lots of survivability there, Avatar as well. Mighty Gust is going to be key. They made great use of it last game, Granite Gaming. They started their boss. On the other side, we see the same thing by Simplicity. They've got their boss down already, a little bit faster. Those big serrated arrows by Hanzo, getting some big shots in. Let's see, we've got two bosses. Siege Camp is actually going to aid in the defense. Mena would be happy to land some poison damage on them to take them down very quickly. But without Thornwood, it's going to be a little bit slower. Sure enough, though, the Siege Camp doesn't do much. They get about 3 to 4 hits in.
While we have the siege happening in lanes, Grubby, I believe we have that last objective phase replay for us to take a look at.
The one where Lunara was split pushing top. They got a couple of kills. Even now, Lunara's thinking about going bot. Now Lunara shows. I know what you're seeing on the field, but I'm also looking at that minimap, the decisions that made Lunara make that decision. And she's like, yeah, that fight is over anyway. Like, I'm seeing how that's going. He was hiding out of vision to pretend like he might be going bot. But when all that happened, I think he went top because he would be too late anyway, which also makes Simplicity maybe a little bit overextended into that tribute. But overall, though, it's fine. Ford Still a lot of damage top. It was good engaged by Granit. They showed up in force. That's always an option you've got. Global doesn't mean leave 1 or 2 people to never join the fight. It means flexibility to restore rotational balance after grouping up, or to split, pretend, and then group up for a big collapse. And I think Granit did that really well.
Granit's still controlling things pretty well. They trade the bottom lane fort for Simplicity's top lane fort, Falstad split pushing, but the other trade factor is going to be Simplicity getting the second curse point. Oh, yeah. Invade?
Yeah, Bruiser invade, actually. The steel Bruiser camp, and it was given up by Simplicity. Very difficult, but good laydown. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it was a good catch as well. I was curious. I was like, why are they just giving this away on their side of the map, Simplicity? And I look up and I go, yes, 13 talent here was not in favor. So they're just respecting the side of Granit and just clearing things safely, not trying to get ganked or anything. Or playing within the defensive wave. Masquerade might have one interrupt onto this. No, it's going to be Blaze with an oil slick, but he does not ignite it. This is still... Okay, there's the ignite as Blaze is still clearing things out in mid. Gia flies in. He's going to be seen by the Lunara. A big apocalypse from the Diablo. Divine Shield utilized by Murden onto himself as Masquerade pops the avatar form. A lot of scatter arrow. Light bomb coming out from Anduin. Murden gets hit with the mid-air light bomb. Stun. Mene trying to get into the bunker will be able to do so. Swamp Grata slowing down Fancy Pants, and we do have just Skoog dumping in as much damage as he can with this Commandero and Legacy getting very low. Ardent Defender used by Swamp Grata, but it doesn't get much value, and Muradin does go down to the Diablo. It seems like this should be Granite Gaming coming out on top of this engagement as Legacy gets a really well-timed heal. I do want to point out, top lane fort does go down in this. So Murden goes down, top lane fort is traded, and a curse to the side of Granite Gaming, or I guess a tribute point.
Lunara mid, getting attacked. She was actually trying to one-on-one with Skog. And then Red Robots came in and made that a fight. Uther is there though. But you are very right. A tribute was taken by Granite, as well as that kill on Murden, but they lose the remainder of the fort. And that does put Simplicity ahead one structure, even if Granite Gaming has a level on them. I think that was maybe my favorite fight in CCL Season 3 so far. Such a good fight from both teams.
Yeah.
So many layers of protection and aggression. Really fast-paced and enjoyable. Everyone playing their part. Well-timed heroics. They're so much more evenly matched than I thought they were going to be. While Granite Gaming did take their first series last weekend, I thought this was going to be a 3-0, 3-1 route. And even if it is going to be 3-0, 3-1, it has none of the quality that I expected was going to happen. Granite is reinvented. Simplicity is looking mortal against them. Not shaky. They're getting beaten with skill in some of these fights. And level 16 is so close. Masquerade looking to see if he can have a pre-16 fight. Mighty Gus coming out. Falstad getting attacked here from the flank. Granite Gaming with the 360 surround. Yrel, Falstad on various flanks. 16 almost reached. Odin turned on. Diablo runs in. Did he go too far? No, he's fine. 16 is reached. Siege Camp still pushing bottom. Granite Gaming wants to not just capture the tribute, but also stick to them like glue so that Simplicity cannot get to the bottom Siege Camp. Granite Gaming has all the options in the world. The Siege Camp is a very strong threat in the bottom lane. They're going to push through mid. A very big bridge to gap all the way to level 16, Bahamut.
It's a long bridge to cross to get to that 16 for the side of Simplicity. And I think Simplicity are going to be the ones to just eat a lot of losses in this curse, because that Falstad immediately moves into bottom lane, not actually going to get ganked by any means. That okay, that's an arrow that goes by a few... It goes...
Whoa!
Big jet propulsion from Blaze. The mid lane fort does fall. Yrel with the Righteous Hammer. And it's going to be a disengage from Granite Gaming, who are slowly just pushing this map in. I got to say, Granite Gaming... You said it, Grubby, and I'll repeat it as well. Different Granite Gaming, a better Granite Gaming, really being showcased today.
A little bit of a D-back move there by Swamp Grota. Very spiteful, not really with any hopes to achieve anything.
Wait, they can make the rotation.
No, really?
Yeah, because they're already leaving boss. Falstad can fly into this. He has flight off a cooldown. He's got gust off a cooldown. They're going to try and get into this because Swampgrata is going to be able to delay things out for a second or two here. Swampgrata pops the Ardent Defender on the point. There's the light bomb from the Anduin. This is not greedy. This is extremely well played. The Vine Shield comes out from the Uther. He's got 200 and something HP. The Gust to push people around. The Uther will be falling. Diablo finishes out his devastating charge. Hanzo goes down to Geo. We have a little leap of faith from Henning to save the Tyke is Commandeer. Odin Fancy Pants is going to be able to back away. The boss is gained through top and bottom to the side of Granite Gaming. No Gust from Falstad, but here comes a Shadow Charge, but what?
He Stormbolt stopped the Diablo in his tracks. I kid you not, Bahamut. I saw the Stormbolt fly and he stopped the Diablo like it was nothing. Got away and he survived. However, we're in a 5 versus 3 and they're going down on the keep. This was extremely well performed. Great call out, Bahamas. They absolutely had full intent to stop and take that boss. Now it's on the core. Can they close it out?
Moving to core on the side of Granite Gaming. Simplicity have everyone back, and level 16s are here. Hanzo gets the arrow this time, stuns a couple enemy Granite Gaming heroes. We do have Red Robot low on HP. Gust from Falstad to force back Lunara. Hanzo gets the agility back into the Hall of Storm. Swampgrata doesn't have the Ardent Defender for 40-some seconds, but the Simplicity core is being shredded by the boss, and Falstad flies in. He wants the game, and Granite Gaming are going to take a map against the dominant force that is Simplicity. To quote 300, I believe it is, "You will bleed today, you are not a god." And absolutely, Granite Gaming showcasing that Simplicity is not that godly roster. Man, Justin, we gotta already bring you back in for this because there were some amazing moments on Curse Hollow.
Yeah, that was a really exciting game. The team fighting that game was really, really fun to watch. That was Grubby said it well with that one fight that happened around the middle tribute. That was probably one of the best team fights we've seen yet in the CCL. Just everyone just reacting to everything perfectly. You could tell though that Granite in this game looked a lot more kind of. They were the team that was just really more aggressive. It felt like in all the fights. It felt like they were the team that was really trying to initiate all of the engagements. Masquerade honestly looked a little bit lost on the Muradin. He felt like in that one fight where he went down, he was the only one who died. He kind of jumped in like way ahead of his team, and he really had no follow-up. He was sort of just lost, it felt like, in the team fights. It seems like he doesn't really know how to start a fight on the Muradin, and Red Robot definitely knows how to start a fight on the Diablo, as we saw in that game. And Falstad with the Diablo, I think those two characters had a lot of synergy together in that last game. There was pretty much always just a Gust or a Diablo to start the fight, and both of them were taking initiative, which as a tank player, it's an immense weight off of your shoulders to have a player like Gia who is proactive with looking for those engages on the ranged position. If you're playing the tank and you're the only one who is ever starting the fights, it makes it very, very predictable and easy for the opponents to just pay attention to the Diablo. But you can't just pay attention to the Diablo in this game. You have to pay attention to the Gia on Falstad. That was the fight that I was talking about. It was really sick by all members. The Gust into the wall, immediately Unaverted jumps over, and then Legacy just gets the D shield and completely negates the engage. But then Masquerade kind of just gets a little bit overextended in this fight and goes down. But this game was very, very close, and it was very, very awesome the way that they ended the game for Granite. How I thought that they might be making a bit of a macro mistake by capping the tribute with the 16 to 15 where they had the talent advantage without taking the boss, because the bosses were still waiting to respawn. But I thought that maybe they were going to wait for the boss to respawn. I thought they might be making a mistake, but they didn't, because they actually went for this super aggressive play instead, where they capped their own boss and then invade the enemy boss, and the timing on it couldn't have been better. So really, really sick way that Granite closed this out, and this is shaping up to be a much more exciting series than I may have predicted. Both the teams seem very close in skill.
The skill level I'd say it's very close between both these teams. If not, Granite Gaming with the big momentum, and we'll see if this affects the mentals by any means of Simplicity. Maybe Simplicity gets shaken up a little bit from this, or Simplicity are like, okay, all right, those are a couple warm-ups. You know, we looked a little shaky on Alterac. We weren't 100% confident on Curse Hollow. But when we get into our third map, this is where we're going to just start, pedal to the metal. We're not going to be shifting gears slowly. We're just going to be all into side of Granite Gaming. That's at least what I'm expecting from Simplicity, but we got to take a little bit of a break and let these players get into our next lobby, get ready, and I don't know, I'm so excited about this series. It's really, really shaping up to be a fun one. In the break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool if you'd like to check out the Matcherino. We do really appreciate all the support you've given to HeroesCCL, and there will be some Logan treats later on today because we did hit that 4,000 mark. So thank you everyone at home for supporting HeroesCCL. If you want to check out the prize pool, ! prize pool, get you over there. But as I said, we're going to take a short little break. We'll be back with map number 3 between Simplicity and Granit Gaming. Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Hey, Logan, he is ready to go, and he is going to get those treats that you all donated for. Welcome back to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Logan, is he? Okay.
That's a good boy. But looks of it.
God. So patient. Look at that. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Now, Grubby did say that him and Logan have been working on a new set of tricks, and I did get actually a screenshot of this trick right before we went live. Oh my God, Logan, you are so precious. My heart. Look at him. He's so well behaved. He's so good. Oh, and he's going to go get his treats now. Thank you, everyone at home, for supporting HeroesCCL. Thank you for donating towards the prize pool. We always like to have these fun these fun goals to hit, so that way we can bring our pets on stream and give them some treats and some love as well. So we'll get Grubby back in here in just a second. But my name is Bahamut. I am joined by Grubby and Justing, and we are in the midst of our first best of 5 of the day. We've got Granit Gaming going up against Simplicity, and the series, it's not all Simplicity like I think a lot of people were expecting. This series is going back and forth as we sit 1-1. But Grubby, we got a map ready to go, and where are we going to head for map number 3 in this series?
We're gonna be heading towards the Foundry, where we haven't seen it in a long time. We did see it once, I think, so far this season. It is back, voted back in lieu of Garden of Terror, and this map can tend to go a little bit long. There's no armor on the core, but the map objective is a little weak. There is no really strong siege or bruiser camp. We've got turrets, they're best used in team fights. We've got a kind of a weak siege camp in the top lane that doesn't really tend to do much by itself, even when left alone, and is easily killed. Then you've got the Protector, where really only the 3rd iteration of it becomes threatening, and many of them even are abandoned before being fully used. Volskaya Foundry, love it or hate it, it's here. Personally, I love it. On Storm League, people tend to go with things like Tracer or Tychus or Zul'jin to follow or stack damage on the Protector. Here, you're going to get a mixture of a little bit of global pressure for defense usually, not for pushing because of the layout of the map, and then just really a strong teamfight composition.
It's surprising.
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's surprising to see Junkrat just banned on the side of Simplicity, because Junkrat on this map, this should be theoretically probably just his best map. It's really, really hard to contest the point with Junkrat on it. He can just set up traps everywhere, and it's nearly impossible to get him off of it. And for Simplicity to ban that, it kind of makes me think that they maybe don't even really play it, because they are the first pick team, so typically you would assume that you would want to force the second pick team to ban that, and it makes their draft a lot more predictable. So a little bit strange to me that Simplicity is actually the team that's banning it. I think that kind of gives away a potential weakness in their drafting strategy. And Stukov on the side of Granit Gaming, you expect the Brightwing to either be pick banned relatively early on, but I mean, last week we did see a lot less priority onto the Brightwing, which I think is a little strange. We'll see whether in scrims teams have changed their minds about that, if they've came back to the Brightwing priority like we're seeing it in this series. And also the objective has felt, on this map, it's felt like the objective is actually the turret camp and the heal camp. That's sort of what it feels like the teams are actually really fighting over up until that real late game.
I'm looking at some stats really quickly. Like, Simplicity has banned out Junkrat like 10 times out of like the 12 or so maps that they've played so far in the season. So Simplicity really doesn't like playing against Junkrat. And these are first and second bans. It's not like it's a third ban, because Junkrat rarely makes it into that third ban area because he's either picked or, well, banned out by someone. Though Grubby, we've got a couple heroic picks already, and the Hawk is the most surprising for me in the sense of his global's not the strongest, but he still is, I guess, okay as a solo laner.
Yeah, he's a good defender, he's a good XP soaking machine, and fairly tricky in the fight, and Fancy Pants played it pretty well. The only thing I don't like, it's a good deny as well, in that sense. The only thing I don't like as much is there aren't a lot of relevant bushes on Volskaya. We kind of saw that being punished last weekend as well. When you hear the sound, you pretty much know which one he's going for. There's so few bushes that he can't really do like valuable flanks on the backline very often. So let's see how Granit Gaming plays around that.
Quite literally, there is no bush around control point B out. Well, technically there is one at the Biotic emitter camp, but that's literally across the lane. There's no bush like in control point C where you can flank on the sides, or control point A where you can flank on the sides as well. So some really cool options. Well, I guess, excuse me, it's limited options for the Dahaka and cool kind of counterplay potential. But Mephisto being banned out, Justin.
Yeah, they are. It appears as though they're committed to the double support already by picking up the Uther, and Masquerade's the one who locked it in. They have the Vala to pair with it, so they have their hyper carry. The Mephisto ban is very telling that they are likely running a double support composition. You can tell that Granit was already kind of onto it, because with their picks that they've already picked, the ban on Maiev makes no sense if you don't think that they're going for a double support composition with a Maiev as the pseudo main tank. And Simplicity pretty much confirming that by banning the Mephisto, which is designed to counter double support. So here's the double support, they're showing it. Blaze is definitely good with it. This is a pretty good double support composition. Not really any major flaws with it from my perspective. I really am a fan of drafting the double support. It's pretty good. They have Vala hyper carry. Getting Uther Malf is a strong pairing, and Blaze provides the extra utility with the bunker, and also has the just tankiness that you need. You need like a pseudo frontline, and Blaze provides the wave clear while also being that person who can stand on points. Nazeebo.
What do you think about Nazeebo?
yeah, Justin, please.
So I think that this is kind of a really weird way to try to deal with the double support. It seems like they're just trying to pump out as much spread damage as possible between the Lunara and the Nazeebo. Typically, that's not really the strategy that you go for against double support, but I guess their idea is that they'll get to level 20 and the Nazeebo is going to be able to just pump out enough damage that the double support isn't going to be able to save people. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Also, Johanna is very weak into double support. She really contributes almost nothing into double support. You can't really go Bless Shield into Uther. He sort of just doesn't care. He just cleanses it, or he shields, or... Johanna's really rough. So is the Haka into double support. So I think Simplicity's comp is looking pretty spooky.
Grubby, did you have a point?
Yeah, Johanna does have that healing debuff at level 7.
It's like 30%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
30 or 35.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so since the rework, I guess she does have that. I'm not sure if that's enough. Maybe that plus Falling Sword with the rework is enough to make her good, but before the rework, she was like the worst tank to play into double support.
But it's just like a bad comp, hoping to get 20, right? Falling Sword, Double Poisoner, Nazeebo.
Yeah, and it is Volskaya, so they'll probably get level 20.
Well, we'll see if the 20s are possible here, Justin. Thank you for your analysis, as always. And we'll see you after Volskaya Foundry, because we got the teams loaded on in. We got Simplicity in the blue, and we've got Granit Gaming in the red. We know who's here, Grubby, but I got to get your thoughts on what this draft looks like for you and what your expectations are, because not 100% sold on the Nazeebo, and I'm leaning into a Simplicity win.
Yep, normally you don't just draft damage into double support, you draft, let's say, isolation mechanics, so that you can pick it apart. You like big silences, wailing arrows, great. I think that would have been a fine pick, Sylvanas. You can pepper everyone with the wailing and then try to... But with Lunara, Dahaka, Johanna, there already is a lack of burst setup. So trying to go Sylvanas one-shot with Wailing might have been risky. If Uther lands a Holy Radiance on everybody, everyone is armored during that. They don't care if they're silenced. Bunker can be hit as well, and there is no interrupting Bunker, so everyone can cleanse their silence inside. Maybe it's kind of a advanced counter by Granit, and just playing for 20 with a big respect towards the map, I think that's actually a pretty cool way to play it. Just play for 20. And I'd be surprised if this is going to be the first Volskaya game that goes like to end at 17 versus 14 or so.
I believe last week we had about a 35-minute Volskaya game. So
Yeah.
This map tends to go long. I actually this past week in just the other stuff that the grassroots stuff that I cast during the week, and because I like to check out what the community's doing, especially in Europe as well. It was still even the European players, they're hitting 35-minute Volskaya Foundry games. So it doesn't matter the region. It's a long map, and I think Justin alluded to it at the start as well. The Triglov, it's very weak, or excuse me, it might have been you, Grubby, excuse me, where the camps aren't that strong. I do like the idea of a Sylvanas maybe for the side of Simplicity, or excuse me, for Granite Gaming, to go ahead and buff the fortification camps with the Mercenary Queen, and then maybe Mind Control to go a little fishing, like, go fishing for one of these support players and then burn them down with the Lunara Burst as well as the Dahaka Drag or something like that. But that's not the case. We can theory craft on the drafts all day, but this is what we have here. As Masquerade does get hit with the Chastise, a lot of good damage coming in from Skoog, and it's actually funny enough, Joanna who gets caught in the zombie while Masquerade just trying his best to back out. There was a brush talk from the Dahaka into this top lane, and there it is, Grubby's first blood.
Yeah, nicely done. It comes at a cost. Guess who's in the other lane?
Guess who's doing his favorite thing? Masquerades, or excuse me, Masquerade. Mene, a different M, the other M. Yeah, he's just living in bottom lane. This is very reminiscent of, I believe, what was it, week number 2 where Mene did this?
Yeah, week number every week.
True, actually, yeah. Mene has his safe place, which is split pushing.
Yeah. Well, Lunara went for Blossom Swell, so really leaning into the damage here, making sure that he's got that range and radius, do a bit more poke, and just makes him go full into the Q build. What do you sacrifice is PvE damage, so he's not going to push buildings as hard. I like this talent. I feel bad every time I don't take the PvE damage, though. Like, the bonus poison damage against buildings is... Yeah, I think usually it's better, but it's a choice. It's fully into the team fight, fully into the level 20 perhaps, making that Q more likely to hit.
That's true, and you also, with Nature's Calling, as you were talking about, that increased damage, it also, if you lose the Triglove Protector, it allows you to have faster burn against the Triglove that is trying to siege into your lane, so I absolutely agree, but this level 4 synergizes so well with the level 7 as well, because you also get the 2 stacks of Nature's Toxin applied, so you only need 1 auto, and then you can just go ahead and just pop that Blossom Swell, that Noxious Blossom, then getting the increased damage. So we talk a lot about...
Do you get the crit from the 2 poison stacks it procs on itself?
Ooh, I want to say yes, but now that you bring it up, I feel like I might be incorrect in that thought.
Yeah.
Oh no, Justin is saying yes. Justin is saying yes. You only need 1 stack. Yeah, so you can do an auto, and then you can do the Blossom Swell, and then you get the crit. Because that's, in my mind, that's how I've been seeing a lot of people do it. But I was like, I had to think back. I'm like, wait, did they have the 3 stacks of Nature's Toxin? Was I missing the autos? But okay, so yeah, Justin did confirm it to us really, really quickly.
Okay, so it's much easier to get the triple. That's funny that it applies the stacks, then calculates the damage that it does on stacked targets. Johanna takes damage here. Henning would have been there to save Red Robot, of course, with the Leap of Faith. Dahaka and Falstad in the bottom lane. Typically, Falstad wins the trades, but Dahaka can't die, so kind of nothing happens unless Falstad gets drag-tongued, which should never happen. It could happen, I guess, if there's a mistake. And Swamp Grota continue to chug away. Now, they are coming in, though. Can Mena escape notice? He's getting ganked.
Oh, the burst damage from Lunara. The damage over time. Mene's going to try and Hearth out. Will he be able to beat the timer? Can he get the Hearth out in time? Grubby, will he? Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. Nice save. He would have died to the poison, but Hearthstone is quicker than the 10 seconds of poison damage. That was really close.
I was actually like just staring at his health bar. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna actually make this Hearth, because we've all been in this situation where like Lunara dots you up or hits you with a lot of damage over time, and then you're standing behind your gate hearthing or waiting for your well like healing over time, but the damage over time is beating your well healing over time. It's like, I should have just Hearthed and saved the 2-minute cooldown. What's wrong with me? Anyways, 10s are up on both sides. We got some Thornwood finds from Lunara to poke at a few enemies and stack up those Nature Toxin stacks. And 99% for the Simplicity side when it comes to the channel. They just need to be able to get back onto the point, and Fancy Pants might be doing that on the bottom left of our screen.
Red Robot steps on, he gets stunned twice, rooted, and the Leap of Faith comes out. Unstoppable would have done it, layered, just for the purpose of safety. And this is probably very indicative of Granit Gaming's playstyle. We kind of outlined it at the start. They let this one go easily, right? Despite having level 10. Yeah, it's their modus operandi this game. They're gonna just stall for 20 essentially. With Naz and Lunara, Dahaka, Johanna, they actually have really good wave clear. And something we haven't totally mentioned, 4 amazing wave clear heroes. They're slowing down this game. They're just defending in every lane. And while Nazeebo got silenced and rooted by Legacy, he's tanky enough, Gia, and can fall back away from the potential Uther gank. Meanwhile, Skog and Dahaka, some Grota, are defending the Protector that just about got bottom gate.
Yeah, about a bottom gate, and it's a little unfortunate. And this is what we had outlined in the draft as well, about just this Triglav not the strongest. I mean, honestly, I feel like Mene in the Falstead does more than the Triglav Protector does with just sustained damage into structures, but Triglav Protector does have a decent amount of health, and it is going to expire. We are going to have a little bit of a pause here, so we'll be bringing it back to our beautiful faces while we figure out what the pause is. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a lag, but we can take stock, Grubby, of what's happening on the map. We just saw Control Point A come through, and let's look to the future. Let's look to like 16 talent tier around maybe Control Point B, as there's usually like a bit of a delay around there. I want to get your thoughts, like who kind of comes out on top when we hit that power spike at 16?
Let's see. Lunara gets... I'm not sure what they pick, actually. Do they go for the CDR on the queue? Might make sense.
You can't.
What? Oh, yeah, that one is bugged.
You're not allowed. It's got a little extra feature to it, if you will.
Yep. Let's see. Johanna, Nazeebo. Yeah, I think Nazeebo gets the CDR for Toads and Zombie Wolf on Spiders. That's decent. Or he can go big and get the 35% spell power if he dares to melee minions. And that one is going to be pretty big as well in terms of damage output. Uther gets the double stun that may help to one-shot someone and prevent any kind of cleanse. Though Anduin is there to save the day. Henning going to be ruining that kind of stuff. I don't think 16 is particularly bigger for one team or the other. Okay. 20 is where it's going to go down. And Granit's done a great job of slowing down the game. They got part of the mid gate as well. Truly, it's an even game, and that's exactly what Granit wants. Double support often wants to face roll and take down fort after fort after fort. And I don't think Simplicity is getting paid off for the composition that they have. I think this does fall off a bit in the level 20 radius, as we see Falling Sword coming out on Masquerade. It's taking some damage, but there's not enough follow-up possible.
Little Thornwood Vine to poke out as well. We do see the Biotic Emitter being worked on by Unaverted. Just trying to quickly look who doesn't have an item on the side of Simplicity, because I think everyone has an item, so they have to use an item. Okay, so Masquerade does use the Biotic Emitter, and he will be able to grab the other one. So just trading those out. Wow, yeah, wow, indeed. What I also want to point out, though, which is actually a little exciting, is the Nazeebo stacks. He's at 160 stacks already. So at this point, it's just waiting to get to 20. I mean, you need 15 more, but still, it's just waiting to get to 20 for the extra value from the Vile Infection for the increased damage. Other than that, it's continued just back and forth in these lanes. There are so many items on the side of Simplicity. It's actually comical. I don't know if I've ever seen an entire team stacked with items.
Yeah, it's like they're shopping for a family of 7, you know, and it's the weekend and they're just filling up the shopping cart with so many items they got. It's like looks appreciatively at the person in front of you in line at the supermarket, and you're like, "Wow, 6 loaves of bread and 20 tomatoes!" Like, oh my god, you're stocking up.
Yeah, and I wonder if those people look at me and they're just like, "Oh, you need to eat more, don't you?" Because my shopping cart is usually just very empty. It's like rice and noodles. And Masquerade gets the Divine Shield just in time. Falling Sword from the Johanna. We got the big slappy ghost coming in from Gia. That Ravenous Spirit will expire, and the Leap of Faith will be used under Red Robot. Good back and forth in this top lane, but look at your minimap. Everyone, take stock of the free DLC. Look at what Masquerade is doing. Simplicity just took a 4.
What Mene is doing.
I don't know what. I'm having a day with Masquerade and Mene's names. But the big thing that I want to point out in this engagement is that it was 4v5, and Simplicity was still on top of this and didn't even burn an item.
Yep, and they got 100 stacks of Vala. We have Mene, the monster under the bed, hiding again in bottom lane and just causing havoc, doing more than the Protector again.
If we get an interview with Masquerade or Mene, I'm just gonna say the other one. I know it. I have a feeling that I'm gonna say the wrong one.
Granit wins then. No, we are unbiased. Hey, and let's see. Oh, Vala is so aggressive. He's living on the front line here. Gia is taking a lot of damage. He has the ice block. 22 health, and they didn't finish him off.
Oh, that's a close one. That's a terrifying one right there. Skoog, they can't get it. They have to. They actually used two. They actually Swamp Grata used his as well because I think he was gonna grab one. Yeah, that's.
Oops, yep, it's right there in the wilds. Falls up. Mene's gonna see it. He's like, hey, it's turret. Go figure. Oops.
Anyways, we got Fancy Pants on the point once again, and we are going to see control points B go over to the side of Simplicity. The assumption on my end is that this Triglav walks into bottom lane to try and open things up, or Menne on the Falstad will be able to just get that bottom lane for. Yeah, I got it this time. Definitely aware of it. But no, it will be top lane pressure, split pressure coming in as well. The Dahaka and bottom lane Falstad to just rotate and catch that soak. Maybe this will be top lane fort, mid lane fort for Triglav.
Yeah, let's see if they can get a second forward one down. I still think Granit feels fine so long as they... Oh, there they go. Vala actually gets a D-shield while full life. Counterattack, and the Haka get out. Double yoink. That's double yoink. I still think Granit is fine. Like, they're fine with this if they stay on 4 buildings. Mene is going to take down bottom 4. That's a great job by Simplicity. This is a double support comp that doesn't have all their eggs in one basket. One egg, Mene, is falling out of the basket and taking down side forwards. I think for both teams, this is an acceptable state to be in, considering the means and the possibilities. I kind of have half a mind, Bahamut, for you to have us put us in the Simplicity comms, because here's what I would expect to hear. Some level of frustration that they can't end the game early enough, can't get enough before level 20 is reached. And I think it's pretty arbitrary when we go in. Like, now is fine, in a minute is fine, because we're kind of like in between 2 objectives, just to kind of hear how they plan to do something before the level 20 Nazebo comes out. What do you think?
Sure, let's go ahead and listen into Simplicity and hear how they're planning this Volskaya Foundry map.
Okay. Drinks in 6. You know, stop.
Haka might be here. Might come here.
My plant, I'm ready.
Call the fly, please.
Divine in 3. Divine up.
I have to watch flank here.
Yeah, we're fine. We're
Top.
just
I just got
I'm going for bot wave. They have a.
What do they use?
They didn't choose
He
anything.
can dig. He's walking up conveyor.
It's fine.
Wait, chill. Okay.
Maybe he's invaded.
He might be doing it again.
No.
No.
We're chilling.
Just tempo for the girls 40. He's gonna be with 20. So
We hit 20s first.
Just come up again.
They have an R top if we want to look at their camp.
Running at their
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're almost there.
I have owned my shit, just take it.
We're good.
Yeah, nice.
Mid again or what?
Yes, we should.
Yep.
He uses suns as well. I will go top, okay?
Yeah, we're almost 20.
We will
can
have
finish
a
this
window
with
with
20.
20, so we can maybe do something.
Yep.
You wanna look now?
I'm looking mid. Yeah. This is pretty much dead.
Playing the Zipa.
Let's cut him down.
I can try.
I'm chunked.
Set of it for you.
Yeah, falling so
Oh.
It's pretty bad with the fort, honestly.
Okay.
I think it's a throw.
Zipa no ice block for now.
I chase. Watch me.
Okay.
I have cleanse.
I'm gonna do a lot of damage here. Just let me Sergeant Hammer.
They hit 20 soon. They might look with their 20s.
Do you want to back up then, or?
Just let me Sergeant Hammer, I think is the perfect way to kind of call out what 20 you took, because Vala does have that Farflight quiver, and at max stacks, she outranges all structures, and that was a fun comment, because it's just like, let me Sergeant Hammer, and it's like, yeah, absolutely, you can sit there and get a free fort and they were able to do so through mid. And Simplicity, they don't sound that frustrated. They actually sound like they are kind of just jiving, and they're like, okay, we got a game plan. We know where we want to look, and the momentum is here for Simplicity. And as I was just taking a quick stock of our levels, I just realized, Grubby, we've had a singular kill on this map.
Yep. Yep, that's true. And now we've got all those level 20s. Basically, everyone upgraded their ult except Nazebo, report ×9. He went for the Vow Infection on the side of Granit Gaming. All upgraded ults, and they're basically ready now. Like, they're ready to fight, but they're actually just gonna push top. They've got an insane push power. Let's look at Nazebo's damage there on that fort. Doesn't have the Gargantuan, which is also great push power. Janna getting attacked. Bottom right, Unaverted doing a little bit of Sergeant Hammering, can outrange towers. They're gonna start to work on that, and they hope, Simplicity that is, that this Protector will be the last, that they can maybe win off of this. Let's see if that's gonna be a thing. Definitely sedate comms. No concern about the way things were going. They have faith in Menace Falstad to win the game. Ranged mosh pit, let's see it.
Falstad, I believe he has flight off of cooldown as well. Yep, and the Gust is ready to go with the wind tunnel, as you were saying, Grubby. This is going to be Joanna stepping forward, popping the Iron Skin. We just have Blaze in the Triglaw Protector, so no Gunner with this as well. Mene looking for the angle on the Gust, and he actually just is going to be poking at the mid lane keep front gate.
He's been spotted, though.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's seen in this setup, and the slow poke onto the Triglav will get like a quarter of a keep front gate or something like that, because there was already Unaverted stepping up and getting one of the towers with just their Sergeant Hammering.
Yep. The good defense by everyone. Gia now throwing the spiders on the catapult for the guaranteed hit. The spiders then move towards enemy players and seek them out and damage those. Meanwhile, the Haka is stealing a turret camp. Very neat by Swampgrotta. He can still dig in. I'm looking at his cooldown. It is available. Brush Stalker is up. And this is where Simplicity starts the never-ending push train. Let's see if the Haka's going to burrow in. There's only one space for him to go. It's towards the south. Double turret there for the attack. Light bomb, falling sword on Malfurion. He gets cleansed. In comes the Ravenous Spirit. It's big. The Spirit is clawed away and it's doing damage. It's still doing damage. Bunker to cleanse away the poison is a good play. And it looks like they have survived. Tranquility will be saving everybody alongside with the Bunker and the Uther. Uther still has the shield available, and he's got that resurgence where if he dies, he can come back. Definitely the fight of the game. 0 takedowns for Simplicity, 1 for Granit Gaming. The next kill may decide everything. Let's see how much the turret camp is doing towards the top. It's doing decent. Killed a tower, killed half a gate. Granit Gaming now pushing in order to create more space for that turret camp to do more.
Attempting to find some sort of kill into Simplicity. Mene does jump onto the camp with Unaverted. Swampgrotta will step up here. Unaverted does need to pick up the fortification camp, and there is a drag, a cleanse to be utilized. Swampgrotta gets the leap of faith, a falling sword from the Joanna with the Heaven's Fury, drops down. The Joanna will get the light bomb as well. Great forms of chain CC as Mene is so low. Skog needs to be able to get out of here. Jet propulsion from Blaze will be mitigated by the ice block as there is a nice wind tunnel into that sidewall. The bunker from Blaze does take that down. Lunara still hopping around, and Gia is going to go down. The Hungering Arrow chasing in. Henning is getting very low here, and Vala, the Sergeant Hammer, just whittling away at enemy heroes with 226 stacks on the Creed of the Hunter. But that is the call with the double kill to go to bottom lane and try and take this keep. Maybe go core. The positioning will lead us. Yeah, the positioning is giving us the sense that this is Simplicity looking to close out Volskaya Foundry, not at 35 minutes, but maybe just about 20 minutes.
They're going to try to make the defense 3v5. Skog, Red Robot, and Swampgrotta. They're still Contagion. There's a root. The root misses on the Haka. The Haka gets the drag. Masquerade dropping low. He's going to actually use his life in order to have more heals. He gives a D-Shield. Great engage there with the D-Shield. Mene. He manages to win the one-on-one with Lunara because he's invincible. And the Rain of Vengeance comes in. That's a kill. That's going to be game. There's no way anymore to hold this for Granit Gaming. Great job by Simplicity. They bided their time. They waited and waited, sacrificed their keep, and finally they saw a chance in that engage. It all ended when the Haka, when Swampgrotta moved in on the turret camp. He saw that he could get the Drag Tongue on Unaverted. He got the Drag Tongue, immediate cleanse and turnaround. Dahaka was dropped to 10%. He was brought to his knees, and everyone needed to go and save him. Granit Gaming trying to push into the turret camp to create time and space, but the continuum is on the side of Simplicity. They get the victory there with a great counter engage at the turret camp. Great bait, mate.
Great plays. Great plays from Simplicity in that last game, with Nazeebo having 69,000 heroic damage, Vala with 105. We're going to round up on that one because they're like 80 damage off. I got to say this just before I get Justin back in here. Vala had 247 stacks, and mentally as that game was ending, I was like, just go hit Dahaka 3 more times, please. Just finish out the quest just for everyone at home. Maybe just me, but either way, Justin, I got to get your thoughts on that game because a lot of slow play in the end was very, very explosive.
Yeah, that was about what you come to expect on Volskaya, I think, for how the early game went. It was Simplicity definitely coming in with more of a solid game plan than Granit. Simplicity had a very good strategy for their rotations in the early game. They mostly had a 4-1 split, where Mene was just doing Mene things, just split pushing, basically the whole early game. And Simplicity, with their 4-man, with the double support, it's nearly impossible for the side of Granit Gaming with what they've drafted to either stop them from pushing or win a 5v or a 4v4 fight against them. So it's kind of just an impossible early game for the side of Granit Gaming. There's not really a whole lot you can do. The 4-man is pretty much invincible, and then the off lane you have Mene just doing whatever he wants while the 4-man buys time. So Simplicity was slowly getting advantages in that game. They got all the heal packs, they got all the objectives, and it really just came down to that final overextension on the side of Granit Gaming, where, like Grubby had mentioned, I think Granit Gaming maybe started feeling maybe a little bit desperate even, where they go and invade the Simplicity's turret camp, and that was their demise. They got really split up there. It was a nice try to hit the tongue, but Legacy on the mouth was just too quick to cleanse, so unaverted on Vala was just fine, and then they get split up, and you cannot try to play a team fight split up against the double support composition. If they're able to fight a 5v3 or a 5v4, anything less than a 5v5, you just don't have enough damage to kill a double support composition. So just well played by Simplicity. I think their draft made a lot more sense, and you can't defend on core either without 5 members against double support. You just don't do enough damage. And one last thing, I almost wish that Geo would have went the Ravenous upgrade at level 20. I think maybe they would have had a chance at winning that bot fight, because it does have the healing reduction now. So I think that actually might have been like the hidden tech to beat the double support, even though historically, Nazeebo level 20, obviously the Vile Infection is really, really strong, but I think the Rav might have actually been the play there.
The Annihilating Spirit at 20 was buffed, and it is really, really strong for Nazeebos out there, but I think it's just, as you said, Justin, I think there's so much like, well, I got all my stacks, I wanna get my stack button, you know, I wanna get that nice golden swirl around me for finishing out my 175 stacks, but it was an explosive Volskaya Foundry map, and I think that was what I was expecting from Simplicity, as I just realized we got Springy back and doing a little analysis as well. And like the exciting thing about Simplicity is their momentum and rallying from a loss, because I think when we got in their comms, Grubby, we heard a lot of really good information, and it seemed like it was all like, let's move forward and continually be the strong team that we are, and I like that. I don't think that loss that we saw on Curse Hollow hit them by any means. I think they took that in stride, and they're like, all right, cool, let's find out, let's go to our next map, and let's find out how we can destroy this team. So I think Simplicity are really, really starting to build their momentum here. But Grubby, we start talking about maps, and I gotta ask you, where are we gonna be heading for map number 4?
We're gonna be going to Dowers of Doom.
Okay, that's a new map.
Dowers of Doom.
That's a new one. That's a new one. Okay.
Towers of Doom coming up next. Also a map where you can't finish too quickly. We kind of had a short Volskaya game. It was 20 minutes, 21 seconds. Because, when it was finally time to end, Simplicity took that chance. A little bit past level 20. Towers can also spiral out of control if one team is the favorite in the team fight. But so far we've seen even drafts, even early gameplay. It hasn't really been a wipe for either team at any point in the game. I'm expecting more close matches coming up between these two, Simplicity and Granit Gaming. It's been such a thoroughly enjoyable series so far.
I 100% agree. Not only is the series, you know, it's not just a 3-0 as we've been talking about today, but it's also a lot of really, really good Heroes of the Storm play. Like, we are seeing mechanical savviness from both sides. It's not like one team is just dominating team fight after team fight. It's back and forth, and we are going to be seeing this push and pull, the tug of war that you often get in a long series like this. So kudos to Granit Gaming. I personally, like, I'm not counting them out, but Simplicity, I feel like they really want to close things out on Towers of Doom. And Justin and I watched a Towers of Doom game last night that was around 14 minutes, so it definitely is doable. I think it was like 0 to 32 in HP, so a strong, dominant Towers of Doom is possible, but I feel like Granit Gaming, they're not going to let that happen. This should be, in my opinion, a nice, long Towers of Doom game going down to that final shot, final bell tower, or even final boss play. But a few bans here, Justin, as we get rid of an unaverted Vala and a Masquerade Uther.
Yeah, I really like the Falstad ban coming out from Simplicity. I think that's smart. It has felt like Falstad has had just a tremendous amount of impact in the series so far. Granit Gaming used it extremely well on Cursed Hollow, and Simplicity's looking really strong with it as well. And then Granit Gaming banning out the Vala and the Uther, I don't dislike either of those, but I think that maybe banning both of them might be a bit of an over, kind of a, maybe too much, because most likely you're not going to be playing the Uther solo support without, or double support without the Vala. And Simplicity has been getting Vala on the 3-4 pretty much every game. Anytime they want it, it's been available. So I do like the Vala ban. I think the Uther ban is maybe a bit too much. I don't know if they play Lunara, but okay, here it is. That's good. They've been giving Simplicity, Lunara, and Vala a little bit too much, I'd say, in the series so far. So I do like the Lunara priority. Also, Nubarak, that's really comfort for Masquerade. So overall, I think what Granit is drafting here in this game is looking quite a bit better than the last one.
When we consider Poke Grubby, there's a lot of really good mages that do that. Li Ming, Jaina. Do you think we could see like a Masquerade mage here, or do you think this could be like a Li Ming potentially for Simplicity to counteract Mene Mage? Ooh, that's a nice coining right there.
No, you said Masquerade Mage,
I
which
did
would be very surprising.
I did it again, didn't I? I'm not doing it on purpose. I don't know what's happening. Like,
you haven't outdone my Hazu Yazu confusion yet from last season.
I do. That is one of my favorites, though, because I do it as well. The Yasuabs.
I was wondering if we will see that, Li Ming. You mentioned it, and player notwithstanding, that can break the cocoon. We could see that Li Ming coming in. It has not been one of Mene's favorite. It's a bit more of an aggressive mage than he likes to play. He's like the goalkeeper, the defender, I don't know, the quarterback, I guess, where he likes to play mage from the backline doing a Horrify. He doesn't really go in Calamity, Disintegrate and stuff. So I don't think we'll see it. It would be good though, but we're going to go for the one shot. Everything now from Simplicity is into the one shot, and they can do this because Stukov is great into Brightwing with the expanding circle, and there is no Anduin from Henning. That has been such a terror to save people from one shot. So how will you save people from one shot? Well, we've got the Lunara cleanse, but what else?
Soothing Mist from Brightwing.
Yeah. I think I think they don't have the healing reduction besides the Varian with the 40% at level 13. So I think that they don't have like a Deckard Cain to completely negate the healing in the Brightwing. So I think that in combination with the Lunara with Abolish Magic should be able to prevent a one-shot. Li Ming is kind of the obvious pick here for the last pick. It counters the Cocoon of Anubarak with the Laser Beam. But it is potentially a Mene pick. He's played Tychus before, so we'll see whether it's an unaverted or a Mene pick for the last pick. But Kerrigan coming out for Granit Gaming, they're more committed to the one-shot than Simplicity is at that point. And Medivh, pretty good at preventing one-shots. So, But Simplicity's draft is a little weird, though. It's not. Right? It's definitely not the optimal Medivh composition. This is sort of more of a response to what Granit Gaming has drafted. If it was me, I would even consider maybe going Smash Variant here. But we'll see what they choose to go with. I think their composition without it will be severely lacking in damage.
There is the cool factor of Mortal Strike from Varian to try and mitigate some of the Brightwing phase shift healing. I believe it's a 40% reduction in healing. So Mortal Strike could be the priority for Varian. I agree with you, Justin. Like I'd love to see Smash Varian in all of this, but I got to get your thoughts as we're just about to load into Towers of Doom. Who can win this map? Would it be a Simplicity 3-1 or do we head to a map 5?
So I don't think that it's going to be Smash Varian. I think Masquerade's hero pool is not quite there for that. They really targeted him heavy with the Uther and Johanna bans. So it's pretty evident that they're trying to kind of ban away Masquerade by picking the Anub too. I think that Simplicity's composition is very lacking in damage. So just on paper, I think that Granite actually has the better draft. A lot of it is going to come down to how the Kerrigan is able to play. If they rely entirely on Kerrigan to just one-shot the front line, I think they're going to lose. But if Granite Gaming can use the Kerrigan to just create chaos in the back line and just play to out-sustain them in fights, I think Granite Gaming really has what it takes to win here with their draft.
Well, let's find out, Justin, because we are loaded into the game. Thank you for your analysis and breakdown, and we'll see you after Towers of Doom, because we have Simplicity in the blue trying to close it out through Towers of Doom. We got Menne on the Tychus. We got Masquerade on the Varian, Legacy on the Stukov, Pants on the Dahaka, and Unaverted playing the Medivh. Over in the red, trying to take us to that game 5, we've got Granite Gaming. We've got Skoog on the Lunara, Red Robot on the Anub'arak, Henning on the Brightwing, Svampgrad on the Blaze, and Gia on the Kerrigan. I very much resonate with Justing on a lot of this, Grubby, but at the same time, if it's a weird composition and it needs to work, I feel like Simplicity is the team to do this. So I'm going to call for a Simplicity win. I think this will be that 3-1 as you and I have discussed, but I got to get your thoughts here, Grubby, I want to know what you've been cooking up in the kitchen.
Cooking up in the kitchen. There's that speckhoek again. No, I wish I could make that. That special Indonesian dessert. Love it. But yeah, what I've been cooking up, I find this is kind of the weaker draft by both of the teams so far. Gia does have a good Kerrigan, and it may get some kills, but there's always the Medivh. Normally, Tychus Hypercarry is not the best. He doesn't want to be the only assassin on the team because he's only got the bandwidth to kill one hero. That's kind of what Simplicity wants to do with Varian Stukov, and Medivh is an additional damage dealer, and he can layer that damage very easily when there's 3 front lines with Brightwing sometimes popping to the front as well. His Q is going to be good. Oh, nice combo. Gia doing pretty good on the combo so far. There's no Medivh here. Burrow Charge comes in, gets the impale on the allies. Can Masquerade get away? Poison. Boom. And first blood once again to Granite Gaming. They are playing it well. While I think both Kerrigan and Medivh were very iffy last picks that I can't 100% get behind, I think Granite actually has them beaten a bit in the draft. I think Hypercarry Tychus is worse than Kerrigan into Stukov. Because let me tell you, I don't love Kerrigan into Stukov. That circle's going to be there, it's going to bother you. But at the same time, there's no cleanse, only force of will. And then there's so much CC that it can outlast the force of will, and still no cleanse. So Granite's got the tools, but Simplicity's got the, let's say, the reputation for the best performing. So it's really evenly matched.
It'd be crazy if Granite Gaming actually beats out Simplicity. That'd be quite the upset when it comes to our standings. But an invade onto the camp with the portal will be available. We do have that Raven Familiar as well coming through. A taunt variant will be the choice. 7 seconds left on that taunt. The camp does go over to the side of Simplicity, and they clap back to Granite Gaming saying, no, we're going to find a first kill of our own very early into this game as well. Now Gia and Svampgrad are trying to back away. There's a portal forward. Gia just trying to get out of here as there's a drag available, but oh no! Oh, that's a little bit too much, yeah?
The Raven Familiar from level 4 actually slowed Kerrigan, allowed Dahaka to gain distance on her. That was really cool. It also juke, but Gia.
I also think that Raven Familiar also threw off Dahaka because I think he was expecting Kerrigan to move a little differently at her speed. At least that's how it seemed, but still. Anyways, triple ultra phase, first one of the game, Grubby.
Right.
This is exciting. This is going to be a good game here, as we do have Fancy Pants getting the drag onto Svampgrad, and Kerrigan goes for the invade on the left-hand side. Risky and aggressive play.
Not gonna work. We know it's not going to work because Medivh is here, so it's a 2v2. Now it's a 3v2 as Anub'arak is getting attacked in the bottom by Taunt Varian. He survives. Red Robot is alive. Skok wants to get one interrupt. He knows there's no taunt yet. Meanwhile, 3v2 continues in the top lane. And this is a team that can buy a lot of time. Dahaka Medivh can buy a lot of time. So it's actually Simplicity that will get 2 out of 3. Well done.
Simplicity come out in the advantage of our first objective phase, and the shots will be the core HP will be 36 to 32. And here we hit that 7 talent tier. We talk so much about the Lunara with her level 7 and everything, but I do want to again bring this up because when we look at the Kerrigan combo, this Lunara Blossom Swell, the the Noxious Blossom, excuse me, that should be a lot extra. That should be the extra damage in this little single target blow up that should gain Granit Gaming the advantage in these moments. But we'll have to see if it works out because the Brightwing phase shift does connect onto Skoog. We are going to see Unaverted getting dove by the Anubrak. There's going to be the combo in Polymorph. Oh my god, protection status at the last second, and Legacy gets the healing. It's Kerrigan to go down. Defensive pings coming out because Unaverted doesn't want to lose their 12 stacks. Portal away, bird up, and I believe Medivh is A-okay.
Oh my god, 212 HP on Medivh.
Ouch.
Unable to finish him off. A very ouchiest moment for Granit Gaming as Kerrigan falls in the counterattack. Typical Medivh effect. Kerrigan not the best at escaping after failing a kill. And Medivh will make you fail every time. Such a harsh teacher. D- Kerrigan.
I thought that Henning had the polymorph just in time and that there wasn't going to be a protection or a self-casted arcane barrier from Unaverted, but well played. I mean, he must have just been, you know, Alt W?
Alt W.
W, yeah.
Alt W.
Yeah, exactly. I had to remember Medivh's basics, but let's get this replay going here, Grubby. And can you break down how this actually worked out?
Yeah, how did they fail to kill Medivh, which resulted in the counterattack? Let's check it out. So there they go for him. Bro charge, combo, team kill. Oh my god, wow. Wait? I think he got a big heal from Legacy or something. No, did he though?
The healing was just spread around. It was a small heal, yeah. It's just, literal, just like, pixel perfect plays, if you want to put it. Like, Unaverted really playing this Medivh well and being able to get that self-cast. But here comes a portal forward. Skoog's the target. There's a lurking arm underneath all of this. No kill to be found. Blaze does finish out his new habits, and 10 talent here looming for both of these teams. We do have a tissue regeneration for the Dahaka. No enhanced agility, so he's not going to have the speed between the lanes, but that's not really necessary when you have so many portals. And, hold on. Nope. No, it's not enough damage to get the kill into Blaze.
Yeah, not quite. He's got that 40 armor from the Pyromania. As level 10 is still being chased by Granit Gaming. They're looking to get that. Gia, very risky positioning. Keep in mind, portal engages have a much bigger radius than non-portal engages. The way you've learned to play the game is always going to be wrong into Medivh because of that portal, the rule breaker. So now that level 10s have been reached, let's see if a cocoon on Medivh. But he's always flying, so you can't open a fight with Cocoon on Medivh. So maybe Cocoon on Tychus and then move on everybody else. Well, then there's Leyline Seal. There's no guaranteed way for Granit to start and win a fight. It's probably going to be down to the nitty-gritty second phase, the aftermath of a fight, where any team books their advantage.
Portal forward, there's a taunt from Varian. Medivh throwing out a few more arcane rifts to build up those stacks. We have the phase shift from Brightwing connecting Cocoon onto this Stukov. He immediately gets cleared out of that by Mene, and the objective phase, it's going to be a double in the mid and bottom. Fancy Pants just trying to meander out, does get the healing pathogen, will get the tongue drag, the polymorph comes through, arcane barrier as well, and Fancy Pants pops the essence, continues to fight into the enemy side as there will be a bunker from Blaze. Henning gets a short distance blink heal, and Masquerade wants to find the kill. Mene with the Commandeer Odin chasing in, and we're looking at Medivh to try and channel bottom, Fancy Pants to channel mid. Medivh should be delayed out, but Dahaka will get the channel because the Thornwood Vines don't connect, Grubby, and there's a turn onto a Nubrak, and no one is going to be able to get the bottom lane as there's a nice Leyline Seal.
Kerrigan, does she have a combo? Pants just threatening, creating space. This was such a cool fight too already, like even just now by both teams. So many close saves, too much to mention. Quick look at Kerrigan, stacks 32. Oh, the rock, he's gonna go die. Will he die for the cause? Yes, he will. And there's a cap. That could be important. We're gonna put a pin in that and look at it later. 4 HP on the core.
Gia.
As Gia will also suffer a death there. That's 2 deaths for 4 HP. Typically not worth it on this map. But again, pin in it. We'll see later if that 4 HP matters. Good job by Simplicity there to get the most out of the situation. 1-for-1 trade and 2 kills.
It was really close to try and get the interrupt onto Brightwing, but I believe there was just a nice Jarrett Potion, I think it was from Blaze, to be able to slow down the Dahaka stepping in. Masquerade does check the bush. There will be a burrow charge from Red Robot, and we do have 1 or 2 sappers made it into this fort as Masquerade is on an island. He has no portal. Yeah, he finally gets the portal. I think it just came off a cooldown, but he can't. Oh my god, can he actually click it? Protection status, by the way, Cocoon onto the Stukov. Yeah, it was really really, really greedy to chase that far forward. I'm not
Really
sure why
greedy.
Simplicity went that deep.
Well, he did, right? I don't know if the whole team signed the contract and said, yes, we indemnify you from liability. This is a team decision. He was deep. And, you know, maybe a little bit too overconfident in the cooldowns and abilities of Medivh to get him out of there. It was actually kind of cool. Sometimes when you play ballsy like that, you're selling the illusion that you know what you're doing. You're selling the illusion of full competence and control, where you're like, I know I can do this. I may look out of position, but what if I turn around and taunt you, Lunara? And then he did, and it's like, oh, it was a bluff.
Well, the fight breaks out once again, this side underneath Simplicity's structure. That is going to be the fort and bottom lane going down as the next altar phase will be spawning in 5 seconds. Lunara trying to apply some pressure to Masquerade, but Masquerade trying to do the same to Red Robot. Red Robot's going to get dragged, taunted, and he goes down. Brightwing falls as well. Kerrigan is going to get portaled on top of. Flailing swipes push back the Ultralisk, and Kerrigan goes down. A solid triple kill to the side of Simplicity as the Commandeer Odin comes down. This bottom lane fort shall fall. Dahaka will get the channel, and it still will be 4 shots raining into Granite Gaming's core. 28-20 shall be our core HP. Blaze looking to get 1 delay over the far side of the wall. Actually, Brightwing.
Do another.
Yeah, Brightwing actually might be able to jump into this, but now Blaze, okay, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, they don't want to do that without Kerrigan. The teleporter isn't up yet, although, having said that, Bahamut, Stormcrotter in trouble though. Taunt interrupts the jet propulsion. Brightwing comes in, it won't be on time, it will be on time. Heading doesn't have cleanse.
Portal forward,
wow,
they
jet
chase.
propulsion.
They're chasing this, but they portal back to try and get onto Red Robot, who is a little split, and some beetles on the ground do delay things out, but I think this is going to be the channel finally going over to Simplicity. I think the members of Granite Gaming realize the longer this is delayed, slowly but surely that bottom left bell tower will get converted back over to Simplicity just through the natural mini waves, and that would be Granite Gaming taking 5 damage rather than 4. So I think Granite's like, okay, back off. Let's start getting back into the rotations, because Granite's also falling behind in experience right now, as 16s are looming for the side of Simplicity, and we're not even close to 15. Easy's A-okay.
Dude, this was a moment where Granite had the option to do 3 different things. They could snipe the boss and capture some points and deny. They could defend bottom, or they could try to gank the Haka if Simplicity Pants would but just walk through the mid. They chose number 3, and it was the worst possible result for them. Not only do they not get the boss, they also do not get the Dahaka because he moved in a paranoid way. It was actually very sensible. And they lose 3 sappers on their tower line. I know they wanted to dodge the main fight because 14 versus 16, but they could have at least maybe killed some sappers. This was good for Simplicity. They're like, question mark, where is Granite? And Pans keyed in on that very nicely. Now it's chance number 2, the Constellation Prize.
Well, Lurker Strain's going to find a lot of value. Isolation will connect onto the Blaze. Portal forward from Medivh. He's going to get some of those Raven Familiars activated onto Swamp Grata. Red Robot in the bush, but the Medivh birds up and he is out of there. Triple Altar Phase coming up next. 4 shots available on either side. And we do have a lot of Simplicity members in the bottom lane. I'm assuming it's going to be very reminiscent of our first objective phase, Grubby. It should be top left to Simplicity, bottom lane to Simplicity, top right to Granite Gaming.
That's not what Granite wants, because it's getting really close now as Burrow Charge goes away. That also means Taunt wasn't used yet. This is not what Granite wants. They want to fight 1-for-1 top, then go for bot. And Brightwing will be able to join late, so will the Haka. There's a Wisp there to check if that's the bush the Haka's going to be going into. Let's see who wins this. I think this could be the fight of the game.
Big ley lane seal into the backline as Anubrak is immediately shredded. There's going to be Swamp Grata getting the base shift from Brightwing, drops the bunker down just after Brightwing comes through. Kerrigan pops the Chrysalis. Gia is trying to back away, Henning with a few blink heals around the team, and that is going to be only Anubrak falling. Skoog looking to burst down Mene, but cannot do so as the healing from Legacy is just a little too good right now, and Unaverti gets that channel on the bottom lane. This is going to be a Kerrigan combo that Swamp Grata is trying to play into, but it's not working out. A little bit of slow here and there from that level 1 Lion's Maw from Masquerade as the portal comes forward. Pants looking for a target, lurking arm onto 1, but it's not going to allow the tongue drag to connect. Nice Arcane Barrier into Masquerade to mitigate really any value from Swamp Grata, and this fort and bottom is slowly being whittled down. It shall not fall as as the portal's up and available, but the re-engage happens once again, Grubby. It's a never-ending fight through bottom lane as Anubrak is actually looking for a flank into this engagement.
This could be big. Cocoon on Stukov. We get the burrow charge from Varian. He gets the Force of Will. Leyline Seal on a single target. Varian dropping low. 30%, 20%. He's the tank though. There's a portal. Another Force of Will. That CDR on portal is insane. Nice slowdown there of the fight with the Leyline, with the Force of Will. And yeah, you're not going to have any fun into Medivh typically. He's going to be very good at defending targets. And Unaverted is playing it great.
Medivh does see the camp, but no actual invade, just a threatening portal into the bush next to Red Robot. There will be a burrow right into the face, and I think this is going to be a feign from Medivh. He's just trying... Oh, no, he is not feigning anything. He will fall, does have his stacks already, so he's not going to lose those. Gia will be slowed. Fancy Pants trying to get the drag. That is going to be another Chrysalis from this Kerrigan, and Commandeer Odin does come down. Legacy very low. Skoog in the backline trying to find this kill. Masquerade has a taunt in, well, a literal second. We have Fancy Pants burrowing back to the left side of our screen, like a very short burrow. That's it.
That's it. One kill apiece. Anubrak going down, Medivh going down. I think that's a win for Granit. They still have two tanks, essentially. Two fight starters in Kerrigan and in Blaze. They are very low on mana, though. It's Granit Gaming. They're being shepherded into a corner. Kerrigan gets dragged on. Doesn't have Cocoon. Doesn't have Chrysalis. Trying to use Ravage to get away. Gets a lot of heals from Brightwing. Good job by Henning. And Skog is going on the offensive.
Dumping damage into this Dahaka face shift onto Gia to bolster that health pool as Masquerade gets the taunt onto Skoog, but there's no immediate follow-up outside of some bullets from Mene. The objective phase in bottom still delayed as Nubrak comes in with a big burrow charge. There will be the tunneling claws or the burrow under the ground from Dahaka. He's polymorphed. He tries to get through the portal, is able to do so. Legacy has a little bit of HP, but gets healed up from his own healing pathogen. We have right now Lunara going for the channel. It does not seem like Simplicity can step forward, and Lunara gets the channel. This objective phase was delayed out for quite some time, but it's Granite Gaming who find 4 shots into the Simplicity core. We sit 20-9 in HP, and the 20 talents here looming for Simplicity as the level lead still exists consistently. 9-4 in kills. Simplicity slowly winning out this Towers of Doom game.
They are, and losing those points was totally fine for them. Good job at Granite, though. A lot of close fights, and you know, we're going to look at the level 20s, see if there's going to be anything special there. We get some invisibility maybe for Brightwing. We get Anubrak with the Rewind, bigger bunker from Blaze with the 50 armor and a bit of oil slick, and Kerrigan probably with the blink, gotta say. As boss is being taken, Leyline Seal is available, so everyone's got to split in 5 different directions, and they should be fine. I don't think he's going to risk it. There's going to be an immediate polymorph the moment he lands, and he will die in the aftermath.
So 4 shots into the Simplicity core, but if we look back at the bottom lane, 1, 2, 3 sappers go over the wall, so it may not be perfect parity, but it is equalization found, and more damage goes into the Granite Gaming core. Next objective phase is going to be in the center of the map. There's 5 shots that Simplicity can fire in, so 1 sapper over the wall, and the continued control of this bottom lane fort will be GG around this altar, but those are the 2 things that have to happen. Obviously, the second being... I feel like the first is more difficult than the second.
Yeah, that's true. Well, now the defense is mounting here. They need to kill those sappers. There's 6 HP left. There goes the Odin nuke. Actually misses the Kerrigan, but the Anubrak gets 1 shot. Completely 1 shot. They go for the Medivh. Medivh polymorphed. Lowing, and then we have the push coming in from Stukov. He pushes everyone back, but actually there were no sappers left.
The one
is he killing Blaze?
He's trying, definitely trying to do so. Won't be able to get that last hit, and there was the hearth out from Kerrigan, but Masquerade has the oh, why? That was weird. Maybe he did what I do, which is like, oh, I already have it, or like he thought he shift queued his mount up, and he didn't, so he just started mounting halfway through his channel. Either way,
discussing maybe to take down mid fort before capping, which would be win condition.
Maybe that possibly could have been it. Yeah, that possibly could have been the conversation. Death timers are just way too low, so I think they made that call. But Masquerade coming in, trying to make a play into Gia, but Gia's going to find most of the CC. There's a portal forward to get Masquerade out of the engagement.
Force of Will should not have a CDR ability.
No. There's, I mean, I don't think temporal flux should exist in the game either, but hey.
Both those 13-16 on Medivh are what breaks this character pretty big. Yep. Anyway, it exists, and he exists. He's kind of the character you don't really ban until he smacks you good once in a series. Fortunately for Granit, they overcommitted on the Uther ban, and now Medivh, who's possibly something even worse, has taken its place. I agree with Justin in the analysis. Fala was enough as a ban.
I think I saw some danger pings on my screen, so I think Masquerade. I think that Unaverted knows where this Anub'arak is and was maybe trying to get Masquerade to use a Lion's Fang to reveal the Anub'arak, but Medivh's still floating around. We do have a jet propulsion from Blaze. The fight breaks out as we do have Kerrigan popping the crystals once again. Flailing swipe from Legacy. He's so very low. Rewind, and that is going to be a nice pick onto the onto the Stukov, onto the Tychus as well. This is a Simplicity fight falling apart. I think double altar phase should go over to the side of Granite Gaming. I don't see a world where Simplicity ends with this objective.
Well, Simplicity has 3 options. They can fight for either altar, and Pants can go for the Sapper. And that could win. They've had good success with the Sappers. They're now starting a fight in without their DPS. Granite Gaming did a great job there. They're actually going to get both altars, but because of the threat of 1 HP plus Sappers, Granite felt they could not greed and also take down bottom fort. So they get the least out of it. Where they're going to look at the boss. Boss 1 minute 30. They're going to take back their own fort. They only got 6 shots as Granite, but they did do a great fight. Loved Red Robot's role there, Bahamut, cocooning the Medivh and using full rewind with great accuracy, hitting all of his stunts and damage on Stukov on Legacy.
Legacy was just so split, so chunked, he wasn't able to really even do anything. He tried to get a flailing swipe from here and there with the controlled chaos, but just as the second animation was happening, it didn't work out. And Grubby, I believe we got that entire fight to break down for everyone at home.
Love it. Let's take a look at it once again. We'll yoink back to reality if that all hell breaks out. Unbrock with the super far burrow charge hits the double stun on Stukov, and then again the double stun. The Cocoon was great. Masquerade out of position. He's looking to save his Medivh. But then the second engage on Tychus by the rest of the team. Loved the synergy there from Granite Gaming as we're back to reality, back to the present. Isolation actually misses. I think Pants queued up Brushstalker Isolation. Didn't really see Leyline already came out. That's a bit of a miss, but there by Simplicity. As Gia is threatening the backline, takes the nuke, goes in the bunker, gets the 50 armor, pops out.
Drag connects onto the Anub'arak. Swampcrowd looking for the burrow onto, or excuse me, the jet propulsion onto the Dahaka. He is able to get the portal out of there. There's going to be Gia taking a lot of damage. Flailing Swipe actually pushes Gia into an okay spot, but it doesn't matter. Varian's right on top of that Chrysalis, and Kerrigan will fall. Scoob getting low here. We have a single altar in the bottom of the map. The controlled chaos from Legacy applying a single Flailing Swipe here and there as Medivh is going for the channel. Flailing Swipes zoning back a few enemy heroes as this is a very big damage drop onto Scoob, but Mene falling low as well. Anub'arak comes in with the big burrow. There's going to be an arcane barrier. No one channeling in the bottom lane. Leyline Seal with the Medivh cheats will connect onto the last member of Granite Gaming. Masquerade was unsure of whether or not to Hearth with full HP and mana or to maybe just wait for the Leyline Seal to end. That's going to be a domination into the side of Granite Gaming when it comes to the 5 kills. Legacy has the channel, and ladies and gentlemen, the GGs come out, and it will be Simplicity taking map victory, map number 4, Towers of Doom. A great map, very well played from both sides. Granite Gaming showed some potential into the last few, I would say like the last half of Towers of Doom was Granite Gaming starting to kind of claw their way back into Simplicity, but that last fight, Grubby, that was a big shutdown, and I got to get Justin back in here because I got to get your thoughts and break everything down. How did all of this work so well for Simplicity?
So Granite Gaming definitely not respecting the Medivh quite enough, and maybe just not understanding how to play against the Medivh. It seemed like there was a bit of a disconnect between Swamp Grotta on the Blaze and Gia on the Kerrigan, because both of them would have needed to play they would have had to play more coordinated if they wanted to win team fights against what Simplicity drafted. Typically they were engaging fights with just one stun from Blaze or one combo onto one member from Kerrigan, and that plays exactly into what Medivh wants. They needed to kind of fight more split than they were. They were playing really just like front to back. It was very obvious what they were doing, And through most of the game, Red Robot was kind of just getting picked on a Nubarak. It didn't feel like he was ever really getting the opportunity to engage. So Simplicity really shutting down what Granite Gaming wanted to do with their composition. And also Stukov with the puddle build from Legacy seemed really insane for them that game. I think their draft, had they gotten any support besides Stukov, I don't think they would have gotten almost any of the kills that they got in the early mid game. It really felt like the puddle from Stukov was what was winning them almost every single fight. Because without that, they don't have the lockdown or the damage to finish targets. But with that, the puddle build was just really huge from Legacy. It really felt like that was almost most of their damage. Like most of what was securing kills was literally just a legacy on with puddles. So well played by Sim. They did almost manage to throw it away with. There was that one like shot in the middle of the game. It was, I think, the third or fourth objective where they had a bot fort that was really low that they could have taken back, and they didn't. And then when they were on one shot, I was kind of nervous that was going to actually matter and that they were going to lose with the one shot. But that's not what ended up happening. Simplicity just played the very late game team fight better, and they come out ahead. So well played by Sim. They're still looking scary in this week as well.
Simplicity definitely a dominant force and continue their dominance in HeroesCCL Season 3 as they have taken their 4th victory in week number 4. So undefeated so far in the standings. They've lost a map here and there, but still reeling things back in. I'm just looking back at some of these moments, man. It's just such a good controlled game from the side of Simplicity. Like I really, really enjoyed watching them. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe we have Fancy Pants in with us for a little bit of an interview. Fancy Pants, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, welcome in and congratulations on your victory. How are you feeling after that four game series?
Thanks, feeling pretty good overall. I think we didn't play up to our standards, so we're a little disappointed in that. I'm not sure if that was us not having a good day or Granite looking better with red and just them having a good day and drafting well against us, but yeah, feeling good. We're 4-0.
It's a great place to be in CCL at the literal top of the standings, but I'm not going to hog all of these questions. I'm sure Justin has got some burning questions for you as well.
So we see a lot of priority onto the offlaners right now. Do you think that is warranted with how strong most of the offlaners feel? It feels like Blaze, the Haka, and pretty much just all the beefy boys in the offlane are all feeling pretty strong. How do you think it's worth it for teams to be prioritizing it as early as they are? Picking one over another.
Yeah, I think Blaze and the Haka are really good. I think there's a little bit of a gap between them and the next row. And then I also think offlane priority is high because if you pick an offlaner early, it doesn't really show your draft. I think hiding your DPS is like way more important than your healer. You don't get something broken. So I think picking offlane early is safe, and you can get one of the really good ones.
Awesome. Grubby, any questions for Fancy Pants?
Well, more of a comment and see if you have any thoughts on it. When Granite Gaming was pushing in on Altorok Pass, you were under the objective they were trying to capture. You were 1 versus 5. And you do what the Hakas tried to do. You tried to get the drag tongue, didn't work out. Then you went in anyway, knowing you still have the burrow available. Trying to bait them to leap into you because you knew your team was collapsing in. And it may have actually won the game for you guys. Were you aware that may get you killed, but that it may turn around into something better?
I had vision of all of them, so I think I kind of knew what was happening at the whole time. Like, the first time, we got to get Chunk, get Bribingzy out, so then they lose resources. And then my team was just saying, like, yeah, we're on the way. So me baiting them, like, if they're leaping me, like, that means they're not leaping our backline. So if our backline's there, like, it looks good. I still misplayed it, though. I had Essence. I didn't pop it before getting left, which I should have done. But, yeah, I think they got baited, so it was good.
You guys played great. And did Granite Gaming surprise you a little bit, or did you know that they had gotten a little stronger?
I think we felt they might be stronger. Definitely, we thought it would be easier. Like, all the games are really close, so credit to them. I think Red definitely provides something to them. And yeah, maybe we could play better. I'm not sure. I think they're looking good though. I think. I played with them last season. I like those guys. I'm glad they're doing well.
It was a really, really fun series, and congratulations once again on your 3-1 victory over Granit Gaming in week number 4 of CCL, Fancy Pants. Before I let you run out of here and celebrate your victory, are there any shouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Yeah. Shout out to Simplicity, my teammates. Shout out to... I kind of want to shout out to my NGS team, my pal Vince, Maka, Jay. I think those guys are all Smurfing it right now. I'm really glad Vince got picked up. And if your teams are looking for people, Maka and Jay, they just won that Heroes Challenger Series tournament last night, and I think they're really good. So if you're giving anybody tryouts, give them tryouts. So I want to shout out.
Well, that's awesome of you, looking out for your friends here in Heroes the Storm, and congratulations once again on the victory. I wish you the best of luck in your scrims this upcoming week, and we look forward to seeing you go up against Oxygen next Saturday. Have a great night, and good luck in your scrims, my friend.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks for joining us, Fancy Pants. Man, I gotta say that the coolest thing about some of these interviews is the shout out moments where we actually get to hear like, oh, you know, like shout out to Funz's mom, or, you know, like, hey, draft these other players that I play also in NGS with. So it's just really, really cool to have teammates or, you know, people that have made it into CCL still looking out for others that, you know, could be very strong in HeroesCCL. But I gotta get both of your thoughts really, really quickly here. What's the takeaway, Grubby, from this first series of the day for you?
I think Granit Gaming is looking some of the best they have in all 3 seasons so far, and that's been really enjoyable to watch. I think there were at least 5 team fights that were among my top 10 favorite team fights so far this season, and that's impressive because we were looking at rank 6-7 team against rank 1. To have those kind of games, it shows how relatively small the gap is between some of the teams. Simplicity did think that they underperformed perhaps a little bit, though it may be forced errors by the strength of Granit. We'll find out more about that next week when both of them are facing another opponent. I thoroughly enjoyed this series, and I'm hoping we're going to get another great one coming up after the break.
Yeah. Justin, any takeaway from this series really quickly from you?
Yeah, so I agree with Grubby that Granit's looking a lot stronger, so that's exciting. Hopefully they can scale up a bit as the season progresses. And I think from draft, Simplicity showed some things that are that I've been kind of waiting to see. They showed the Medivh and the Uther with the double support. Nothing has changed with those things. They were getting like permanently banned at the end of last season. I think it's just whether or not teams play it. So it's good that they're playing it because I think that's going to put a stress on all the drafts going forward.
Drafts are becoming more and more critical between all these teams, and we are not done for the day just yet. We have one more best of 5. It's going to be Diamond Hands up against Storm Esports. We'll see if Diamond Hands are going to get reverse swept or if Storm Esports will just shut things down very quickly. It's going to be an exciting series, to say the least. We have a little bit of a longer break right now, but as always, we got Kyle Ferguson with BBJ to talk about, well, the upcoming match. One last thing that I want all of you to do in chat before or while we're on this break, I would like you all to just spam chat with the Feels birthday man, because it is our moderator's birthday. It's Kai Berry's birthday, so happy birthday to Kai Berry's. Make sure you're spamming that chat while we're at this little break, and we'll see you after this BBJ interview for more HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom.